have we're live. Have been completely unable to get our fearless leader to get a hold of me about anything. You?
I haven't tried, so.
Okay. Well, I mean, need to know the guy that we trained for 4 days next week. Did we just waste our time? Are we?
No, we'll need someone either way.
Well, I understand, but I mean, did we just? Is he going to need to know how to operate a different studio?
So help me out, David. What the gambling thing? So what happened? I didn't understand. It sounded like the West Flagler Group won one of these two.
It sounds to me like they're continuing to win in the federal courts, and the state courts are getting more bogged down by the day. And so I want to get somebody on this week to A, is how we're reading it right. B, so if they lose in federal court, like if the Supreme Court upholds the compact, but the state court shoots it down, well, then what's law?
Through 5 games, the Dolphins have 41 more yards than the greatest show on turf in 2000.
Hey, I saw Warner do a pregame hit in which he said they're reminding me of us. All I know is that, damn, they are fast.
Yeah, Achan can change his name every week if he wants to run that fast.
Totally.
Hey, Felipe, do me a favor. Stand up. Take a knee. You'd be undefeated if you'd have done that.
They're going to tell me to do some waking up exercise.
No. I think I just.
No.
I think
No.
I just.
Yeah, wake up.
Did
Cristobal,
you
wake
guys? Did you guys see the picture? Somebody took the wide angle shot of the Dolphins taking a knee at the end of the game, and somebody wrote, "A Miami team really does know how to take a knee in this stadium to win." Okay. Since it's 2 minutes before the show has started, have we hit all the buttons? Are we on the app?
Streaming.
Yes, I hit it.
Okay, but are they working? Because apparently
we don't know that until we go on the air.
Well, that's true.
I'll have the app on my phone.
Okay. Because apparently those buttons are very temperamental.
Yeah, no kidding.
I got a full day today.
Yeah,
Fired up, meeting a buddy for breakfast after the production meeting. Fired up for that.
Production meetings at what time?
8 a.m. local, 11 o'clock yours.
At least it's not at 7 a.m. At least it's not the normal 10 a.m. time that you have to run from the show to it.
Exactly. Gotta go, guys. Nope. I got time. I can eat some $17 cashews, something like that. Sure. Went downstairs to the gift shop, bought a couple snacks, some waters, a soda, $38. Okay. All right. We're in Vegas. Would you like a bag with that? Yes, I'd like you to carry it to my room, actually, but I'd take a bag.
Did you know that Miami hasn't been taking knees at all this season? They've ended every single game on a run.
Okay. He also did it 6 years ago in Oregon against Stanford, and it cost him a game.
Yes.
Have you heard the story that's out there? Okay, not confirmed that apparently the running back was nearing 100 yards, and one of the assistant coaches.
Yes. He got 99 yards before the carry.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don Chaney out of Belen in Miami.
No big deal or anything. It probably affected where game day was going, right? Miami, North Carolina, both undefeated, or who's this week coming up? Where would they have gone? It's not Ohio State, Penn State, is it?
No.
Is there a Pac-12?
Here we go.
Yes.
Oh, USC, Notre Dame.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How was your weekend? Thanks for starting your week off with us. Let me clear my throat. Give me a second. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. If there is some loud banging in the background in the next minute, it's because it's 3 a.m. here in Vegas, and I just woke people up on both sides of me. Okay, hopefully there will not be some loud banging. Top of the morning to you, Mark, from our Southwest Florida studios. How the heck are you?
I am doing great, David. This weird thing happened this morning. I get up every morning. I take the dog out for the walk, and dare I say, cool air hit me in the face. It was not humid and, upper 70s. It may have been 70 degrees, a little bit of a cool breeze. Felt really nice. Felt like fall, David. Felt like a fall in Florida, 70 degrees.
I'm sorry. Did you use the F word on the air?
It's a 4-letter F word, too. Fall.
Exactly. It's got a vowel and everything. Watch yourself, young man. Watch yourself. It's going to be 93 here in Vegas today. So, it's in the low 70s right now. It's actually going to get cooler before it gets warmer. That's how it works out here. So, hey, Mark, there's a lot of casinos. There's a lot of gambling out here. You know that? I'm at the Conrad, which is at the far end of the strip. It's 8 miles from the airport. And I just want to let you know, don't get me wrong. It's a beautiful hotel. It is. I'm not saying anything against the Conrad. But I am 3 blocks away, Mark, from the Erotic Heritage Museum.
How was it? I mean, I know you got there early yesterday, so
well,
taking in the arts, were you?
I drove by it at 9:30 in the morning. I went, wow, on a Sunday. Now that'd be a little different service. Mark, I am 2 blocks away from the world's largest gentlemen's club, Sapphires.
And again, that begs the question, how is it?
Well, I will say there were a lot more cars in front of it at 9:30 in the morning than there was in front of the Erotic Museum. Yeah. But so, that's just the part of the neighborhood that we're in. Literally across the street is the Fontainebleau. Okay. And 2 blocks down the road, there is, right. So, this is Vegas, baby.
I don't even know where you are on Vegas. You're so far away from where I usually am.
I'm a block from the convention center.
Okay.
So I'm down at the other end. I mean, the parts that people are like, no. I'm by the Westgate, the Fontainebleau. The Trump's casino's half a mile away. We're out further. We're beyond his casino even. So it is funny, though, because when he built his thing, it was nice and shiny and what have you. Now it looks like, not nice and shiny. It's funny how nice and shiny this place has gotten. That's all I'm saying.
Did you take in any table games yesterday?
You know what? I went for a stroll, Mark. I did. I'm not going to lie.
You.
I did. I went for a stroll. Okay. I walked into the sports book. I did. I did. Just checked it out. All right. A buddy of mine hosts a show on VEASAN. Okay, and I just wanted to, get the feel and the taste, because he's sitting in the middle of it doing a show, and I just wanted to, have it running through my veins, Mark.
Good
Yep.
for you.
Yeah, son-in-law wants me to place a prop bet on the Sacramento Kings. I said, wow, words that have never been spoken in my life before. Okay.
You just keep that money and tell him you made the bet?
Yeah, I
You take
told
the
him I know
action
who.
for him?
Yeah, I told him I know who he's married to, and he has a young child, and he needs to stop that type of behavior. Yes. Hmm. I said, if you were married to someone else, I'd have no problem placing that bet. But I know who you're married to, and she needs the money. You may not, but she does.
Sure, there's a good charity she could give it to.
Well, exactly. Right.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, it really does. Boy, does it ever. Yep.
Speaking of running, the Miami Dolphins just ran for another long touchdown.
And not only that, the Giants had guys right there to tackle them, and they still ran right by. Man, they are fast. Isn't it fun when you see something that you don't think you've seen before? I mean, we're used to bigger, stronger, faster on Sundays. We're not used to one team just running right by another team.
Video game-esque with several players. That's the thing about it, is that it's not just one guy. There are 4 guys that just absolutely burn on that team.
Right. Like, it's one thing when the Oklahoma Sooners back in the day, and they would race by Middle Tennessee State. Well, yeah, it's Oklahoma and Middle Tennessee State. These are 2 teams in the same league. It's called the National Football League. Usually one team cannot just run right by most every other team. Man. I'll tell you what, are there going to be enough healthy players to get through this league this year?
There will be. There always are, David. But
wow,
I think we go through this exercise every year because it is so brutal. And during the first few weeks of the season, we're reminded as to just how difficult this sport is to play and get through. And it started, to me, it started Sunday morning, the Bills-Jets or Jags game.
Oh,
big injury. And seemed like there was an injury every damn play.
And 2 huge ones to the Bills defense. I mean, to me, the guts of their defense. For as important as Von Miller was to their defense last year when he got hurt, they were not the same. To me, Matt Milano is the soul of that defense, and he's a tackling machine. And he's done for the year and suffered a horrendous injury. Hope he can come back and be Matt Milano. And you and I have Bills fans in our lives, and I don't know if you got the series of texts from one of them whose friendship that we share, but man, he was blowing up my phone basically saying, well, the season's over. And I said, well, not if Trader Miller and Moulton were the GM, it would not be. No sirree.
Well, David, you're on to something there, and there's a lot to talk about in the NFL, but it certainly seems as if we have a league of have and have-nots like I don't recall in quite some time. That there's some really good, and when there's some really good, David, well, you get the opposite of that, and that's some really bad. And to me, trades are out there. They're out there for the making because what's it take to have a trade? A team that wants to win and a team that has to have some hope that has no winning. And the combinations are there, David, for trades to occur between good and teams that are out of it. Because there will be, by the time the trade deadline comes, there will be a lot of teams that are out of it in the National Football League.
And think about how many more injuries we're going to have with 3 more weeks to play. Because the trade deadline is 3 weeks tomorrow. It's Halloween. I mean, 3 more weeks for guys to get hurt. And as Mark just pointed out, and for teams to fall completely out of contention. And for front offices to already start looking ahead to next year. Now, I wish the trade deadline was mid-November. I'd even go the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I mean, it'd be nothing like being traded Thanksgiving week. I think that actually would represent the NFL more than just about any other thing they've done. This is how cold-hearted we are. Happy Thanksgiving. You're going to Buffalo. Right. Not that there's anything wrong with Buffalo. I was just using a team that was going to acquire some players. But Mark, the Miami Dolphins are in first place.
Yes, they are.
And they're going to win next week, too. They're going to get to 5-1 because they're playing maybe the worst team in the league next week. They're already, a 14 and a half, 15-point favorite? When's the last time you can remember the Dolphins this big a favorite?
Don't think it's happened since I've lived here.
This also will be back-to-back games that the Dolphins are double-digit favorites in. That hasn't happened since 95.
But, David, not only are the Miami Dolphins in first place, with their win over the Buffalo Bills, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in first place.
And Mark, even though they had an early season bye, who else from the Sunshine State's in first place, Mark?
That would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in first place.
I was thinking last night, when is the last time this trifecta was pulled off? And has it, in fact, ever been pulled off?
I doubt it.
Here's the best off the top of my head, because I didn't look it up. In 99, the Bucs went to the NFC Championship game. The Jags hosted the AFC Championship game. The Dolphins made the playoffs that year. They were tied for first around Thanksgiving that year with Peyton and the Colts. Yes, the Colts and the Dolphins were in the same division 25 years ago. Look it up. Arizona Cardinals were in the East for a very long time. Look it up. Falcons and Saints in the West. It's a hell of a league, and they got away with it. It's like one league in baseball having the designated hitter for 50 years and the other not. No, everything was just accepted. That's the way it is. So that 99, I think, marks the closest that we've come to this little phenomenon that we have right now.
Well, if it happened in 99, then it's happened again, because right now we have 3 Florida teams in first place. 2 of them look like they're flat-out contenders. And the other one, well, they're the Bucs.
Yeah, they're plucky, though. They're plucky. They got a Baker. You know, they got Mr. Personality as head coach. You know, they got a Baker. They probably have a candlestick maker, too. I mean, you know, we can win games here. We're the NFC South. Come on. I mean, what's it going to take anyway?
The right 8?
It's what happened last year. Hell, maybe, you know what? We may mess with you. We may get to 9. Huh? How about them apples? Hell, we haven't even gotten to the in-state football story of the weekend yet.
No, we haven't.
No. We're going to give that its own moment, its own segment.
As time is winding down on this segment, David, as we get ready for the next segment, I think we should just run a bunch of plays before we go to commercial break.
You sure?
Absolutely. Let's just keep going like nothing's happened. Like we just got to keep playing, and we'll just figure out however it.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. How about 2 touchdowns scored on basically the exact same play yesterday? 2 teams ran flea flickers.
I saw that, yeah.
The Lions run a flicker, and then the Niners run the same exact play.
The Lions even tweeted it. They said, "Oh, that looks familiar." It is so great seeing the Lions this good. Honestly,
we'll see if they're this good.
Oh, come on now.
They beat Carolina.
Okay, but
they beat Green Bay.
But they're stomping on teams.
Yeah. They lost to Seattle.
You guys have always told me if you want to make a run, you got to win win those games.
I've got you, but you just said it's great to see them this great. I'm not ready to say that they're great yet. That's all. Nice to see them winning.
Aiden Hutchinson is good.
Amal Shah is my buddy at Visa and SEC me. We did a gambling show for 2 years on Sirius XM. It was simulcast on the College Channel and on Visa. And I don't think a whole lot of what I do, but it was actually a good show. And I know the guy who took over the College Channel hated me, but he should have kept that show. That was a good show. Beeson loved the show.
They don't really have fire sales in the NFL. So I wouldn't be hesitant to say fire sale with any team.
But with Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, you never know. Come on down. You're the next contestant on 1 and 4.
Hey, can we stop putting the Giants on national television, please?
Okay, Felipe. Here's the problem. They had sucked for a really long time. They hadn't been on national television for 5 years. They overachieve for 1 year. They win a playoff game, and the networks go, "Oh my God, the Giants are good again.
They're back."
And every network says to the league, "Give me the Giants."
Oh
and so goodness. Monday Night Football has 2 Giants games. Sunday night, yep. Amazon, yep.
It's like when they put the Pelicans on national TV and Zion wasn't playing, and you're just watching a bad team get blown out.
We saw this last year. Remember, didn't 4 of Denver's first 6 games with Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Televised? Yeah. I feel as if that's what we're getting again.
It's the same thing.
Oh, I mean, it is the Chiefs. We get the Broncos and Chiefs on Thursday. That should be riveting.
And then Giants Bills, right, on Sunday?
Well,
Yes.
Baltimore, Tennessee, Sunday morning for a nationally televised. I mean, I know it's the Sunday morning game. Giants, Bills. Oof.
For as much as I like John Harbaugh and for as well run as the Ravens organization is, man, they know how to lose games to the Steelers. Holy mackerel. That was the game that was on here in Vegas.
They switched to it here because they had given us, because the Dolphins were on Fox. So the CBS game was Saints.
Oh, Patriots.
Oh
my goodness.
Now I never had it on because
Right.
I only have the 3 TVs. So I had Dolphins on the one that I only get the local station on. And I had Lions, and then I had a montage on the other one. But I had to but they switched to Steelers at some point when it was a blowout.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. And thanks for starting your week off with us, Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in Vegas, Monday Night Football. A lot going on in Vegas. All right, Felipe, let me tell you, if you could transport yourself for 48 hours, I was thinking to you yesterday when I landed, because, you know, you're such a hoops nerd and all. So game one of the WNBA Finals was in Vegas yesterday. Tonight, Mark, you got Monday Night Football, and at the exact same time, because they don't mind double booking in Vegas. Hell, they'll triple book. All right, there's an NBA preseason game involving LeBron and the Lakers going on at exactly the same time as Monday Night Football. And tomorrow, the NHL season, they dropped the puck on that sucker. And in Vegas, you know, they're hoisting the banner, and the cup will be in the building. And that's a little, you know, sports 48 hours going on out here.
Not too badly.
No. So Mark's in the cozy confines of our 239 studios, and we're doing this Miller and Moulton thing. Hey, I heard the Canes lost Saturday.
They lost to Georgia Tech.
Wow, they were 3 touchdown favorites.
They were. David, they were. And let's see if we can get this right. They had the ball late in the game and were running the clock out.
Okay.
When they could have, in fact, taken a knee and won the game, they decided to run another play.
Uh-huh.
They fumbled the football.
Uh-oh. Is this Pisarcik and Zonka? What happened here?
And they did, you know, fortunately for the Canes, they were able to get Chaney his over 100-yard game with that last carry.
Oh, good. So the yards counted before the fumble. That's good.
But they fumble, they give the ball up, and then give up a touchdown in 2 plays and lose the game.
I saw that because I saw there was like 30 seconds left in the game. So even though they fumbled, Georgia Tech down 3 still had to go like 40 yards to get in field goal range and had to go like 75 yards to score a touchdown. I mean, I thought I saw they gave up like a 44-yard touchdown on the final play of the game.
They did, when in fact they weren't in any position from a Hail Mary standpoint. There was nobody deep. I mean, a receiver just beat 2 guys down the seam. It was...
Wow. So what the head coach have to say about this?
What did he have to say about it, David? He, he said he should have called a timeout and didn't offer really any excuse for why he didn't take a knee.
Right. Has he yet to say he should have taken a knee?
No.
That's what I thought, Mark.
No, he hasn't.
Right. So he had Saturday night and he had all day yesterday, even to release a statement, you know, Sunday morning, meet with the media, breakfast, bagels, you know, cream cheese, that sort of deal. I've yet to hear Mario Cristobal say, you know, I screwed up. All right. Why won't coaches do that? We're actually, listen, we can be blankety blanks, but it actually lasts a really short period of time. We love it when you throw yourself on the grenade. We do. We love it when you admit, I screwed up. I'm really sorry. he could come out and go, because the theory is that he wanted to get this running back 100 yards. He was at 99 yards before that carry. And so he figured, what the hell could happen? Well, obviously, we saw what happened. You come out and you say, listen, I wanted to do something nice for this kid, hardworking. He'd never had 100 yards before. And I put that interest ahead of the team's interest. We all saw what happened. I screwed up. I'll certainly never do it again. I feel awful. My job as a coach is to put us in the best position to win. I feel as if I've let everyone associated with Miami Hurricanes football down, blah, blah, blah. Why can't you say that? I mean, it's not like we're firing you. It's not like you're losing your $6-7 million a year. Okay, so just throw yourself on the grenade.
If it wasn't for the record, I'd say that was a pretty fireable offense.
It's not the record, it's the contract.
It is a fireable offense, but with the contract, it's not. But the other side of it, I would almost say, is it really? And I'm on your side, Philly, but here's the thing. What have we known about Mario since he took the job? He's a great recruiter. He's not a great game coach.
No.
This is beyond being a bad game coach. This is horrific.
This is incompetence.
This happened to him before, too. Okay, he was at Oregon. They had Stanford beat. They didn't take a knee. They fumbled. Stanford came down, kicked the tying field goal, beat them in overtime. I mean, when that happens to you once, how do you make that mistake twice? I mean, you could say whatever you want about John McVay, who was the head coach at the time, and the Giants, but the Giants haven't screwed up the final 2 minutes of a game situation since November of 78. I mean, one high-profile gaffe, and, you know how to take a knee the final 2 minutes of a game when the other team doesn't have timeouts. But, Mark, I got to be honest with you about, let me do the math here, 5 hours before the Canes pulled off what they pulled off, I saw something similar in College Station. Alabama got a first down. The game's over. There's less than 2 minutes to go. A&M cannot stop the game. Clock is running. And on first down, the quarterback for Alabama throws a screen pass and one hops it to the receiver, so the clock stops. And now, in theory, they at least have to run a play on fourth down. They can't, just take 3 knees and the game's over. So it's funny. I mean, I watched the quarterback for Alabama have a brain, what. And then we all saw the head coach for Miami 5 hours later have the same one. I mean, I will say this, though. I mean, Nick was pulling his dyed hair out as his quarterback saw the pass. He was like, what are you doing?
Right, there's a difference. Nick at least could blame somebody and say, how did this happen?
Right.
Mario apparently approved of this message.
Also, why does he keep saying we should have called timeout to reassess things? Too many things were going on. I'm sorry? Too many things were going on in the hollow stadium of Hard Rock Stadium when all the fans have already left to beat the traffic and there's maybe 18,000 people there? That's too much? Yeah, good luck at Doak Campbell's Stadium.
There's a part of me also, Mark, you and I had a funny monologue many times about if we were caddying for Vandeveld, okay, it never would have happened because we never would have let him hit some of the clubs that he hit and hit some of the shots that he hit on the 72nd hole of the 99 British. We just wouldn't have let him do it, okay? And there's a part of me that is want to ask Van Dyke, the quarterback, at any point in time did you just think you'd take the snap and take a knee? The hell with what they call.
Thank you, David. Thank you. At some point, the quarterback should know, looking at the clock, going, why? You know what? They screwed up. I'm just going to take a knee.
Yeah, I mean,
victory formation, boys.
Exactly.
This game's over with.
Yeah, I can't believe they just called a running play here. Guys, I'm changing it. We're going to take a knee. This game's over. And you can do it from the shotgun, by the way. You snap it to you, you catch it, you drop down on a knee. Game's over. I mean, he could have ad-libbed even. That's remarkable. No big deal or anything. I mean, they were would have been undefeated. Nice little showdown with North Carolina this week. Battle unbeaten's 2 top 15 teams in the country.
Thank God for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, for the Miami sports fan, for you, Felipe, that's for sure, because the Canes, well, they couldn't let their fan base down any more than they did with what Mario Cristobal and that team decided to do in the closing minutes against Georgia Tech. It was a game that should have been won, and they flat out lost it.
Oh, man. I mean, do you have a moment of levity at practice this week? Do you end the practice today by taking a knee?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can, not with young men like that, David. I don't know how you can't joke about this. I think you have to apologize to them for screwing up. Miller and Moulton, the starting 5 is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Oh, Jimmy, I was there. First big event I ever covered. And I thought to myself when it was 10-7 Miami, well, this game's over. They're getting 6 yards of carry. They don't even have to throw the ball the rest of the way.
Okay, so Ohio State and Michigan, #1 college football rivalry. Texas, Oklahoma, 2, I think. What is 3? In the top 3 best rivalries in college football.
Iron Bowl.
Iron Bowl, that's what I was thinking. It was a great game. Red River Rivalry. It's kind of a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's a shootout. Just like it's a cocktail.
Shootout, yeah.
Just like it's a cocktail party.
Yeah.
Fighting Tannehills couldn't get it done for us, David.
No. Colts stuffed them 4th and 1 inside the 10. They finally slowed down the D train. By the way, that's your, if the playoffs started today, 5 seed in the AFC, ladies and gentlemen, your Indianapolis Colts.
Stop it.
Just saying. It's only 7 teams that are 3-2 or better in the AFC. I'm just saying. By rule, we have to put them all in. Dolphins would host the Bills, by the way, if the playoffs started today, in a 2-7 matchup.
We've played 5 games.
Just
stop it.
I like to play if the playoffs started today.
I know you do. It's October the 9th.
Hello.
Okay.
I like that game. I like it more than yes, no, maybe so.
That's too bad because yes, no, maybe so is a keeper.
Wow. What is happening to you? Did you fall, hit your head? What is going on?
Who's in the playoffs after 5 games in a 17-game season is a little early
You
in
hated,
my estimation.
You hated yes, no, maybe so. You mocked me for yes, no, maybe so. Or did you just mock the fact that I got it from listening to NHL Network Radio? Is that why?
Yes, no, maybe so. Sounds like a bad game show.
It does. It does. That still ran 3 years, though, because, I mean, once they get a game show, they at least, I suffered a bad beat with that Boise State San Jose State game. The line kept going down.
But you want it when you bet it on the show.
No. I laid 9 with Boise State and they won by 8. It was 8 at kickoff. Yeah. No, I went 4-4 this week.
I'm sorry.
It's not often that you outscore a team 21-0 at home in the second half and don't cover 9.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour, Gary Danielson joins us at the top of the hour. Chris Landry will join us at the top of our 8 Eastern hour, Miller and Moulton. I'm coming at you from Vegas. Monday Night Football tonight, Raiders and Packers. It's that Super Bowl II rematch, Mark. Vegas looking for revenge against Lombardi and the boys. We'll put week 5 to bed is what we'll do. That's all.
I doubt you watched the open of Sunday Night Football last night, but T.O. does this whole thing and it was good. They broke down the history of the Cowboys and Niners, and boy, did it make me feel old. Because they started with the Staubach. They started when the Cowboys became America's team. And he literally said, a long, long time ago. And I'm watching it going, no, you're right. That was a long, long time ago. And just to get back to the 90s is a long time ago, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Not to mention when they go 70s on you.
I'm glad, even though I didn't see it, I'm glad they mentioned a game that largely gets forgotten about. Because the Niners had a 15-point lead in a playoff game against the Cowboys. 15 points. This is before the 2-point conversion in the fourth quarter. And Staubach led Dallas back 17 unanswered in the fourth. And that was really when the Cowboys took off. and became America's team, and the cardiac kids all the time, and seemingly whenever Staubach had the ball, the Cowboys were never done. And then we all know the Dwight Clark in the catch, and then of course the 3 straight years they played in the NFC title games in the 90s, and and the Niners own them. They sure do. And we'll talk about it some more with
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
You remember when the Dolphins needed their quarterback to be like terrific in order for them to win? I mean, Tua was not terrific. I mean, he threw 2 picks. Hell, one was a pick 6. Yeah, but they still had 524 yards of offense. Achane with 151 yards rushing and a touchdown. Tyreek with 8 catches, 181 yards and a touchdown. 31-16, the Dolphins. That's a win and a cover, by the way, if you're paying attention. Miami's 4-1, and the Giants are 1-4. Fortunately for the Giants, it gets a lot easier this week. They go to Buffalo. Fortunately for Miami, it might actually get easier. They host winless Carolina. Speaking of Buffalo, they suffered a bunch of injuries. Matt Milano, knee injury. He's out for the year. Daquan Jones, a pectoral injury. They think he could be out for the year. And they then lost to the Jags. ATN, 2 rushing touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence was really good. Both teams now 3-2. Jags won 25-20. We brought this up 2 months ago, that Bill Belichick has actually become the problem in New England. Not the coach, but the general manager. That's not a good roster. The Saints went into Foxborough and beat the Patriots 34-0. A week after getting spanked by the Bucs at home. The Patriots had 156 total yards of offense, Mark. They had 8 first downs. 8. They're 1-4.
Offense was very Iowa-esque.
It really was. Ferentz and Belichick are close.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm. Houston had the Falcons beat, except Desmond Ridder is an NFL quarterback at home. On the road, no. But at home, yes. He ran for a score, threw a score. They kicked a game-winning field goal at the gun. Atlanta improved to 3-2 with a 21-19 win over Houston. The Lions are 4-1, Mark. You okay with this? Can you handle this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They're doing a nice job. They beat a bad team yesterday.
And they beat them badly, 42-24 over winless Carolina. Jared Goff, 4 TDs, 3 touchdown passes. Carolina had 3 turnovers. The Ravens dominated the Steelers and lost 17-10. No, really. If you watch the game, for 3 quarters anyway, they absolutely dominated the Steelers and just got in their own way. Harbaugh passes up a field goal late at the half since they should have had a 10-point lead at the half. These coaches and the obsessions with going for it on 4th down and going for 2 all the time. I want to line them all up and wring their necks. But the Steelers won 17-10, Pickett to Pickens with 1:17 to play from 41 yards out. Both teams are 3-2. And since Pittsburgh won the head-to-head, technically the Steelers are in first place. Man, that's a bad-looking first-place team right now.
That's a bad first-place team, David.
But that defense is really good. It did everything but throw that one pass. Honestly, they did all they could to win a game yesterday, and they did. Colts finally slowed down Derrick Henry. He had owned them throughout his career. They were clinging to a 3-point lead, mid-4th, 4th and 1 inside the 10, and they stuffed the big fella. Anthony Richardson got hurt. They're saying it's a sprained right throwing shoulder.
Probably a month is what I was reading.
Yeah. Once again, they got him running the ball. This just in, he's injury prone. Colts, however, are 3-2. They beat the 2-3 Titans 23-16. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow. I'm just saying, Mark, it's not too late. You can get back on the wagon, you know.
Hey, Jamar Chase was open. He was always open.
He was open yesterday 15 times.
Yep.
That's how you handle a diva wide receiver. By the way, you're going to see that tonight in Vegas, because if Devontae Adams doesn't get 15 catches and 200 yards and at least one touchdown, he is going to revolt on his team because he's playing his former team. Anyway, Cincinnati beat Arizona 34-20. The Eagles are 5-0. They beat the Rams 23-14. Key moment in the game, Rams going to take a lead into the locker room. The Eagles go 75 yards in 5 plays. It took 32 seconds. They literally scored on the last play of the half. Took the lead, never relinquished it. The Jets in the revenge game, they win one for Nathaniel Hackett. Words that have never been spoken before. 31-21 over Denver. Broncos are 1-4. Jets defense, a sack, fumble for a touchdown and a safety. They were good. Kansas City improved to 4-1. They beat the Vikings 27-20. Mahomes 2 TD passes. So did Cousins. Kelsey 10 catches, including a touchdown. And Sunday night, if you didn't stay up for it, Niners humiliate the Cowboys 42-10. Brock Purdy with 4 TD passes, while Dak Prescott had 3 interceptions and got benched. Kittle, who had not caught a touchdown all year, caught 3.
By the way, nice call on that.
Yeah.
You had said that on Thursday or Friday. Said, when are we going to have a Kittle sighting? And I think it'll be this weekend. So good call on that one,
Well,
David.
but I mean, you know, sometimes, listen, coaches and offensive coordinators look at the stat sheets and they're kind of like, wow, we haven't gotten the ball to Kittle. We have a good matchup this week, right, against the Cowboys. Yeah, we should probably get the ball to Kittle. He's doing a lot. You know, you got to feed the beasts. You know, what did Burrow do yesterday? He had an unhappy wide receiver. What did he do? He fed him.
19 targets.
Right. Sometimes the rest of the team's got to take a back seat. I got to feed this beast. I'll get back to you next week. Raiders, a 2-point favorite tonight. Not sure they should be favored against anybody. Over-unders 45.5. Green Bay looking to improve to 3-2. Baseball. The Texas Rangers scored 5 runs in the second and then hit a grand slam in the third. Had a 9-2 lead, held off the Orioles 11-8. Do you know Texas, after blowing the West, swept Tampa Bay and has now gone into Baltimore and swept the Orioles? They're up 2-0 in a best of 5. They return home tomorrow to try to put this sucker away. Corey Seager walked 5 times. No one had ever done that in a playoff game before. And the Twins did something no one's ever done, or at least not since 2017. They beat Houston in a divisional series game. The Astros had been 12-0. Twins 6-2 because former Astro Carlos Correa had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. That series is tied at 1. They'll head to Minneapolis tomorrow afternoon. Today, game 2 of both National League Series, Mark. Phillies, who won game 1. Remember, I know you didn't pay attention all weekend. I'm up.
No. I told you I was going to get up in the morning and read the scores, and I did. I read box scores. I went through everything. I'm there with you.
Phillies shut out the Braves in game 1. Game 2 is 6 o'clock tonight. Zach Wheeler against Max Fried. 9 o'clock tonight, the Diamondbacks, who bombed Kershaw, 5 runs before he even got an out, knocked him out after a third of an inning in game 1. Diamondbacks up 1-0. 9 o'clock tonight, TBS. Zach Gallen against Bobby Miller.
Kershaw's playoff ERA is 2 full runs above what it is in the regular season. It's ridiculous what happens to him in the postseason.
Well, and he, of course, was victimized by the Astros in that one World Series game, but you can't blame it all on that. He has also had some great World Series moments. He's pitched or playoff moments. But you're right, Mark. He has not been Clayton Kershaw.
The highest differential between regular season and postseason ERA in baseball history with a minimum number of innings pitched.
Right.
It's remarkable.
It is. Let's see. What do we got? NASCAR, they're down to 8. They cut 4 guys yesterday, including our guy, Ross Chastain. He finished 10th on the road course in Charlotte. He, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, and Bubba Wallace now out of the playoffs. They're down to 8. College football polls came out. Georgia's still number 1. They got 50 of the 63 first-place votes in the AP. Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4. That's the same top 4 in the coaches poll, where Georgia got 61 of the 64 first-place votes. Oklahoma's up to 5 in the AP poll. They're up to 7 in the coaches poll with their dramatic win against Texas. Notre Dame fell to 21st in both polls after finally losing an ACC game as Louisville beat them. Miami kept in the top 25 by the writers, out of the top.
I have no idea.
I think the writers feel badly for the players, honestly. They're out of the top 25 in the coaches poll. Game 1 WNBA Finals. They say this is the best WNBA Finals ever. New York and Vegas. Vegas, the defending champs. Vegas pulled away in the second half yesterday. Down at the half. They outscored them by 20 in the second half to win game 1 by 17. Game 2 on Wednesday. And there was a 5-way playoff mark on the PGA Tour yesterday in Jackson, Mississippi. And Luke List won it with a 43-foot birdie putt. Second longest birdie putt on the final green to win a tournament this year. Remember, who was it who won that Canadian Open with the 70-foot
The Canadian kid.
Yeah. So this is the second longest birdie putt to win a tournament this year. 43-footer to win a 5-way playoff on the PGA Tour. It was $1 million putt, the difference between first place and the other 4 golfers who had to split the tie for second. And that, at 8 minutes before the hour, gentlemen, was...
That was the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
NHL season gets underway tomorrow. We will have a hockey guest tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Look at you going with a one-timer tomorrow.
There's a lot of intrigue with the Lightning, believe it or not. Vasilevsky going to miss the first 2 months of the season.
Right.
And there's not a whole lot of difference between playoff teams and non-playoff teams with regular season point totals. I mean, are the Lightning now on the playoff bubble? I know what I just said. Got Stamkos still wondering why they're not talking contract. We've got issues with the Lightning. We haven't had issues with the Lightning in 10 years. I'm just saying, we're going to have a guest.
I'm just saying, wow.
Just like we've got a guest coming up, Gary Danielson.
To talk college football.
Although he's like you, he's a Wings fan. He'll talk some hockey. That's where you want to go.
I think we'll stick with Alabama and A&M.
Okay. He was there. I know. I saw him there.
Gary Danielson next. Chris Landry in the 8 o'clock hour to talk a little NFL as well. We are Miller and Moulton. Thanks for getting up with us on a Monday. Lots to kick around, and we'll do it with Gary Danielson next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. 20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Well, Ambient, the thing about Louisville was they were the least impressive 5-0 team. I mean, even their head coach was saying, we're not playing nearly as well as we can play. They won some games being sketchy. And then Saturday, their A game showed up. They hadn't played a game like that all year.
I laughed last night. Chris Collinsworth goes, I'll tell you, Kyle Shanahan's offense looking a lot like Kyle Shanahan's offense. No further analysis. Like, oh, that's great for people who have no idea who Kyle Shanahan is. But
well, how many people who are watching Sunday Night Football who don't know who Kyle Shanahan is?
I mean,
He's in his 7th year coaching the Niners. They've been in 4 NFC Championship games. Remember, we don't have Travis Kelce playing. We didn't have, 5 million Swifties watching. If Travis Kelce was playing, you have to explain that. That's where Tariqa would jump in and go to our newcomers in the audience. LTC, I'm telling you, he can coach. And Mark, did I call who your next coach should be?
If Urban doesn't take it.
Although I do wish he had gone he got a little conservative late in that game. Mid fourth quarter, he had a 4th and 1 right on the edge of long field goal range. He went for the field goal in a tie game. And then USC scored first in overtime, kicked the extra point. Arizona scores. Do you go for 2 in the win? On the road?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you do. So I wish he had been a little more aggressive down the stretch of that game, but that was a 3-touchdown underdog on the road. He's played Washington and USC, really tough back-to-back. Not a sexy hire. I think he'd do a tremendous job. Yeah, Kyle's got the Andy Reid thing going right now. Remember, it took Andy forever? Went to all those conference championship games, lost most of them. Kyle was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, who blew 28-3. As head coach of the Niners, they've had 2 double-digit fourth-quarter leads, one in a Super Bowl, one in an NFC championship game, and lost them both.
Ambient, because we hate all commentators, because Collinsworth is good. We hate them all. We can't say they suck enough. Everybody listening could do a better job. Just ask them. Tirico's the best in the business right now. It's an easy listen, I think.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us. I come at you from Vegas. Monday Night Football tonight, Raiders and Packers. Sounded good in May and June, right? Mark, coming at you from the cozy confines of our Southwest Florida studios. Chris Landry to talk all things NFL next hour. Gary Danielson, kind enough to join us. He from the SEC, soon to be Big Ten on CBS. And Gary, first off, thanks for your time. And secondly, let's get to it. So you got to see Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, and Georgia twice. Now you got your first up close and personal look at Alabama. What do you think?
That's a good question. For a while, I was thinking Ohio State had the best balanced team, with the quarterback position being the big question mark. But it does seem, after watching Ohio State, they seem to be playing it so safe with the quarterback, and Coach Day is just trying to run the ball so much. It just feels like they haven't taken the safety guardrails off their quarterback. So I'm leaning that Georgia is the best team right now. I really do. They've got a quarterback that's much better than given credit for. He took his time. He's a veteran of the offense. I think, they got playmakers all over on their team. They're not great at any one position but tight end, perhaps. But they are, there's a reason 4 straight top 3 recruiting classes put a pretty solid team together. So I'm going to go with Georgia as the best team I've seen so far. But there's a lot of close. Penn State's a lot of close. Michigan's close. And Alabama is improving. And they have a defense. And, by the way Alabama's playing now, they're slowing the game down. They're a 60 to 65 play team now. So their defense is going to play better because they're playing much more controlled football game to allow their defense to be better.
What about their offense to you looked better, Gary? You obviously go through their film and get ready for the game. They came out in the second half and got things going. Did their offense look significantly better this week to you?
Well, yeah, obviously Milroe has finally settled in that he's not a pretty thrower, but he's a much more effective thrower. I thought he was very nervous at the beginning of the season, didn't handle the microscope of that he had to be, a quarterback like Bryce Young or Mac Jones or Tua. He's not that type of quarterback. He's a different style. And I think over the first, 4 games, they've settled on, I think, the next important thing. They've given them 2 receivers, 3 receivers at the most. They've ended the rotation of playing 6 or 7 receivers. And, with Burton now, they found a go-to receiver. I think that's really important for the team. The rotation at receiver, I thought, was way off, and I think they found it. Their offensive line, though, is still a big question mark. Now, admittedly, the team they played against, everyone is going to have trouble running the ball against A&M. So I like the way Tommy Rees did not continue to bang his head against the wall, as I said at the beginning of the second half, and started throwing. But they got to a secondary they thought was beatable, and obviously, if you watch the Miami film, that secondary for A&M is beatable.
Well, it's interesting. You use the word rotation. Normally, we think in terms of basketball, in terms of a rotation, and when a coach will shorten the bench, if you will. So you're saying you think it's important to shorten the rotation, if you will, at receiver?
Yeah, I just think, just like your reference to the NBA, you shrink the bench when the playoffs start. Well, in college football, the playoffs are the regular season. You have to win your games. And I thought there was just an uncomfortableness with the quarterback. I mean, they were basically, if you looked at the targets for the Alabama receivers, they'd go through a game, the first 4 or 5 games, and it was, an anomaly for a receiver to get 4 or 5 targets in a game, not catches, targets. They were playing so many different receivers. So, I think they settled in. They decided that Burton was their best receiver. They used him. They created a pressure point, and it made it much, much easier for Milroe.
Does Alabama have, you mentioned, we know how deep they are because they recruit so well, but this is a pretty tough little stretch. Arkansas, Tennessee, LSU,
Right.
Kentucky. Does Alabama have it to get through a stretch like this?
I think they do. I think they're good enough. Mark, they're really good inside at the defensive tackle position. They're veterans. There's a great rotation. There's 5 or 6 of them. It's really hard to run the ball against them. I think Deontay Lawson, their middle linebacker, is a really, really good football player he's big. He's 240. He's in that mold of the type of inside linebackers. He's really good in pass defense. They've got 2 really good edge rushers that are a mismatch for anybody in college football in Braswell and Turner. They got a nick at safety now that's going to hurt them with Malachi Moore, but I assume it's hope it's not a surgery ankle. Hope it's just a sprained ankle he can get back. So, yeah, I think they're sneaky good on defense. 2 corners, probably as good a pair as they've had in a while that they can depend on. So I like this Alabama team. Milroe was the missing piece, and he's a problem because teams do not want to rush right at him aggressively because they're so afraid of the way he can pull the ball down and create a home run. So it's not pretty. I will agree with that. He's going to miss some 3-foot putts, but he makes some plays. I was impressed with some of the things they did, and obviously concerned about the 9 pre-snap penalties. I have to admit, have you ever seen Nick Saban go into a press conference kind of laughing about what do you guys want, the bad or the good? I thought his press conference was pretty amazing for Nick. He just looked and said, hard to believe we won this one. With 23 yards rushing and 14 penalties.
He's Gary Danielson, part of the SEC on CBS, and he and they have A&M and Tennessee coming up this Saturday. We were talking over the weekend about looking ahead to the Big Ten schedules because you'll be doing Big Ten football exclusively next year. And now, Oklahoma and Texas with a tremendous game over the weekend, and they'll be joining the SEC. Do you think the college football power bases can handle the better scheduling that these super conferences are going to force their teams to play?
Mark, Dave and I didn't quite talk about this exactly. We kind of threw the topic out there, but when I was talking to Coach Saban on Friday night, we interviewed him. We get to meet with the coaches. He just said in his mind, with the new 12-team playoff, he'd rather just play all the good teams. Just give us the schedule, Texas, Oklahoma, doesn't matter. He said, however, with the 12 teams in a playoff, you can go 10-3 or whatever it's going to be, and still make the playoffs much more like the NFL. He said, I just don't know if our fans could handle that. And that's the key point right there. They're used to winning them all. Every loss is a crisis. I mean, look what's happening in Miami right now. I mean, that's a unique situation. It's not like we haven't seen it before, but that's a tough one. But every loss, Jimbo Fisher's going through it this week. Mark Stoops is going through it. Is just so devastating for these college programs. So I don't know. The answer is I don't know. It'll be a learning experience. Mark, you know this. I mean, Michigan fans, it's win them all or it's a bad season. Or lose one as long as it's not Ohio State.
And that's the part of this for, to me, you brought up Miami, they lose to Georgia Tech. That's where there's no room. You can play everybody, but these losses down the road, and losing to Ohio State's not going to be a big deal. Losing to Minnesota midway through the season could be the difference between teams making the playoff and not making the playoff when we carry this thing forward.
Right. If I could step aside and talk about the Miami thing a little bit, I would like to, if it's all right.
Of course.
Yeah. So, I know I love you guys, and you're the best, and I listen to you all the time, and you're not more accurate than I am doing a game, okay? But Mario did admit he should have taken a knee. He didn't do it loudly, but he did admit in his post-game press conference that he should have taken a knee. The reason he emphasized the timeout, I believe, this is from afar, is he was getting advice from assistant coaches that he needed 2 more yards to get the kid 100 yards. And against his better judgment and in the hurry up of trying to get it in there, said, okay, what could possibly go wrong? And if you think about it, you give me the odds. I'm not condoning this, believe me, okay? What are the odds, first of all, that you fumble? And second of all, what are the odds that after that, the team goes down and scores a touchdown? Is it 1,000 to 1 if you lay it on top of each other? How many times would you bet that?
Yeah,
So,
you're right. It's not even
after the game, no doubt.
It's right. It's not 100 to 1. It probably happened 3 times or less out of 1,000. There's no the thing that hurt.
Again, I'm not condoning that. He put his judgment of the game and to try to get a kid a stat, and he learned a tough lesson. I do agree with everything else you said. He should have stepped up and owned it. I agree with all of that, but it is a tough lesson that he should own. But it's what would, in your mind, both of you, I'll ask you this question, what would be worse if he had no idea there was 30 seconds on the clock and he ran a play, or that he knew there was 30 seconds on the clock and he decided to give a kid a chance to get stats? Both are really bad. I'm not condoning this, okay? But what would have been worse today if he was said, I had no idea that we could have took a knee?
Yeah, that would have been worse. I'm curious, Gary, if you were the quarterback, would you have taken a knee and ignored the play call?
Mark, that's an interesting question. We never took a knee.
Right.
That wasn't even part of football when I played. We always ran the ball. We never even quarterback sneaked it ending the game. That was not a part of football, maybe until after the Pisarcik play. So, it might have happened right at that time, but no one ever took a knee. We always ran the ball and said, keep 2 hands on the ball. We can't fumble here.
In fact, didn't they have to change the rules to allow the victory formation? Because if you think about it, now when you go down and put your knee on the ground, you don't have to be touched. It's the one play that you don't have to be touched.
There are 2 things that are different when I played.
And we got 10 seconds.
You also could not spike the ball to stop the clock. That was intentional grounding.
Those throws over the bench all the time to get the clock to stop. He's Gary Danielson, the SEC on CBS. We are Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening to Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
RCB, don't get me going. It was an illegal play, and why they decided to make it legal, I have no idea. And I have no idea why, after thinking about it, they're like, no, we're still good with it. I don't know why they want their game to look like rugby. But
Oops, there we lost David again. All right.
I don't know. Not at 4:19 a.m. They shouldn't be. Listen, I don't get it. I swear to God. I got 5 bars on my laptop. I got
It doesn't have anything to do with the bars, though. It's Wi-Fi. It's intermittent. It will go out without a solid connection. It can happen. It is what it is.
Wes, what I think is going to happen is they're going to add 2 teams by the end of the decade, and then they're going to add playoff teams, and we're going to go from 6 to 8. There's not going to be any first-round buys. And I think there's a change. We go back to 154 games. I think there's a change, or maybe 158. I think there's a change. We lose games so we could fit in another round of the playoffs. Either that or they'll just begin the season 3-4 days earlier in March. It's good to see after that week 1 debacle with the Chiefs that tackles are being made to line up, the way they should be. I kid.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I come at you from Vegas, Monday Night Football, Packers and Raiders tonight to wrap up week 5 of the NFL. Mark, I know you don't want to hear it, but you know what? Tough. Okay? It's not yes, no, maybe so. It's worse. It's if the playoffs began today.
Oh, boy. It's October the 9th. Some teams have only played 4 games, David.
I understand that. I do think, though, this exercise is not one of futility. I do think this exercise, though, clearly shows you made a statement last hour about how many bad teams there are. I actually think this proves it.
I think this exercise shows how little we like to exercise. That's what I think.
You make a dadgum good point. There's only 7 teams in the AFC with a winning record. How about that?
Hell, we know who's in the playoffs.
Yes, we do. Colts, Ravens, Bills, your wild cards, by the way. Dolphins technically would be the 2 seed. Chiefs, undefeated in conference, would be the 1. But it also goes to show you if you're the Browns and the Chargers, you're at 2-2. There you are. You're right there. You're knocking on the door. In the NFC, there are 8 teams with winning records. So the 3-2 Saints would be the odd team out right now. I believe technically the Niners are the 1 because of point differential. Obviously, the Eagles and the Niners have the exact same everything, and they've played the exact same number of conference games. I believe the Niners are technically the 1 because of point differential. But, anyway, those 2 teams will play each other during the regular season, so we'll figure this sucker out. Detroit, the 3, Tampa Bay, the 4. The wild cards would be Seattle, Atlanta, and Dallas. But it also, how big tonight is for 2-2 Green Bay, and also how costly Thursday night was for now 2-3 Washington. So that's why I did it. Never mind the fact, just want to point out that, all 3 teams in the state are in first place, which we don't know if that's ever happened before at any point in the season after like week 1 or 2. So, that's all.
David, you picked too many games this week.
Yeah, well.
You picked too many games.
I don't think I picked too many games. I think that my process was faulty. And here's how I know it was faulty. I was pointing out it was faulty as I was making the picks.
That's really a dadgum good point. I mean, when you go through an exercise to explain just why you should not be picking home dogs in the National Football League, and then proceed to play 3 home dogs in the National Football League.
Right. It was fortunate I got one of them to win and cover. I mean, really. So, I mean, we explained, by the way, if you missed it on Friday, the best bet in the NFL this year is a road favorite. The whole, you get a home underdog, you take them. No, actually, it's the worst bet in the league right now. Goes back to what Mark's saying. There's a lot of bad teams. There's a reason they're a home dog. They ain't any good. You win over 58% of your bets so far this year if you take road favorites. We had like 5 of them this week in the NFL. I think they went 4-1.
And you did take a tough loss in your Boise State, San Jose State game.
I did. But you know what? That's okay. Had a really
good
week.
You went 4-4 after 3 winning weeks. You keep it at 500.
Yep.
I got back off the schneid.
Ooh, in a big way. Somebody had a donut in the right-hand column heading into Sunday. Somebody was 4-0 going into Sunday yesterday.
I thought you cursed me when you send me a text at halftime of a game that David knows better than this, too. So my daughter has a birthday party on Saturday. Now, fortunately, it was at a bowling alley, and there was a bar with televisions because it saved me. And literally, there was a bar within. I mean, I could sit at the bar and see my daughter at the same time. It was wonderful. So I've got Texas, Oklahoma on the screen. I'm enjoying the game. And at halftime, David sends me a text. That over pick looks really good.
It did. Until it didn't.
And then it did again. Of that game to get to an over.
But you hit it. And I will say, kind of like me, as I was making the NFL picks on Friday, and I said, do not listen to these. Bet the other way. These are stupid. The numbers say these are stupid bets. You did say, I really like my college games. Not a single NFL game I like. I feel as if I have to pick an NFL game. I don't want to. And then you picked one, and that was your one loss.
Yes, it was. The revenge game, as Nathaniel Hackett able, as the offensive coordinator, to get revenge on Sean Payton for saying it was the worst coached team in the history of football. And now the Broncos are looking as if, well, they're not all that well coached.
Well, that's what Sean Payton should say. Sean Payton should actually step to the microphone and go, listen, I stand by my remarks last year. They were the worst coached team I've ever seen until this year's Broncos. They're far worse coached. That's what he should say.
The post-game handshake, if you can read lips, there's a couple of tweets out. Sean Payton comes over and says, good game. They have a close, tight shot of Saleh. Says, stay humble to Sean Payton as he shakes his hand. There's no love lost between those two gentlemen. That's good stuff right there. Stay humble after you beat their you-know-what. Time now for our play of the day. Felipe, what do you have for us?
Well, the college football weekend was capped off by another classic Red River shootout with Oklahoma down late with a game-winning drive in the balance.
Nick Anderson now comes far right in the trip set, 27 seconds. Anderson in motion, 23 seconds. Gabriel has the football, looks to throw. He's under pressure, he lobs end zone, touchdown! Nick Anderson, touchdown! Oh, mama! Dylan Gabriel, a legacy-making drive! A 3-yard touchdown pass to Nick Anderson. And with 15 seconds to go, the Sooners are on top in the Cotton Bowl.
Toby Rowland, electric call, radio voice for the Sooners. Boomer Sooner. They win 34-30. Taking down number 3, Texas.
That was a great football game.
That was a fantastic football game.
Did he just go, oh, mama?
Oh, mama. Yes, he did, David.
I don't think I've ever heard that before.
And as a mama's, I have either.
And as a mama's boy, I think I like it. That's a great call.
I didn't know if you'd have Zagacki with the fumble as your play of the day.
I know.
I didn't even. We don't have to go there.
Well, we'll try to get Joe on before the week is done.
See what he has to say himself.
And when we do the intro, we'll say undefeated Miami facing undefeated North Carolina. Wait a minute. What does it say here? See if he hangs up on us or not.
Probably will. He probably will if we open that way. There's no doubt. But that is our play of the day right there. A great Red River shootout.
Thank you. Thank you. I could hug you right now. You know what they're playing at the end of this month in Jacksonville? What are they playing, Mark?
The world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yes.
Miller and Moulton. Shootouts, cocktail parties. We love them all. Right here. Where else but the Florida Sports Network?
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. It happened. We forgot to put a poll question up.
Well, we're still in the first half of the show. We still got time.
Should we ask people if Cristobal not taking a knee is a fireable offense?
That's
and
what
then
I
we
was.
put in parentheses, we're not firing him, just asking. Or we can put in the question, just asking. I don't know. Maybe not, but.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I just think that most people will say yes. I don't know, Michael. I don't know. I came in and it was all off.
Is that what we went as a poll question?
Mario Cristobal not taking a knee versus Georgia Tech, a fireable offense?
I think it's
sure.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the top of the hour, Chris Landry to join us at the top of the hour to talk a lot of football. You pointed something out during the commercial break. I feel it's important that we admit when we screw up. You know, every now and then we pat ourselves on the back. Not often, but we pat ourselves on the back when we're right. Tua. All right. But we also have to acknowledge, you know, when we screw up. And isn't today the beginning of week 3 or 4 of the shape up?
I think it's week
I don't know.
3.
Okay. Mark, what's a key part of the shape up?
Well, there's only been one part of it. We're in the step 1 of the shape up, and that's getting a poll question up by 6:30. And we completely blew it today. Completely blew
it. But we're still getting our exercise in. We're only doing 30 minutes instead of 60. That's how I look at it. We're still maybe 15 minutes. We're just, I don't know, we're walking a couple staircases.
Well, I will say, David, I may need to start my own personal one because somebody on Saturday or on Friday at the golf course literally poked me in the gut and said, "What, you trying to catch Moulton?"
Whoa!
And he was fat. And it was a fat guy doing it, not a skinny guy. A fat guy came up to me and said, "Hey, what are you doing? Trying to catch Moulton?" Poked me right in the gut.
Wow. Them's fighting words.
If they weren't true.
says, I'm sitting here eating Oreo cookies at 4:40 in the morning in Vegas. Damn, that must hurt.
I put a little sign up in the pantry right by the Oreos.
Uh-huh.
And it just says, this many days since Mark's eaten an Oreo.
Has anything ever been written on the paper or no?
Well, we're at 1. We're actually, I mean, I get to change it to 2 when I get home from the show today. 2 days, this many days without Mark eating an Oreo.
So do we have a poll question? I have a nomination for a poll question.
Go ahead.
All right. And we're not saying he's going to be fired. Please don't give us, we're not saying that. Okay. Just because somebody doesn't get fired doesn't mean what they did was not a fireable offense. And I just want to ask you, like, imagine things were different with Mario Cristobal. Imagine he was 6 years in and the program was mediocre. The fan base wasn't very happy with him. And then he did what he did on Saturday, not taking a knee. We're just asking, is what Cristobal did, his head coaching blunder, a fireable offense? We're not asking if he's going to be fired. We know he's not going to be fired.
What if I just ask, would you fire Mario Cristobal for not taking a knee versus Georgia Tech?
There you go. Yeah. Put the burden on you, the listener. Yeah. So that's our poll question. Not taking the knee, under 40 seconds to go, Georgia Tech with no timeouts, 3rd down. I could have just taken a knee, watched the clock run out, squeaked out of there with an unimpressive 3-point win. But hey, a win's a win's a win. And then taking their undefeated act to North Carolina to face undefeated North Carolina. But instead, oh boy. And that was like one of the last gimmies on the schedule, too. And now you got Carolina and you got Clemson, and you got Florida State, and it's like, blank. You needed that one.
Yes,
really
you did.
Yeah.
And it's not a fireable offense to me. It's close. It gets right up there. But the fact, here's what makes it more fireable than not. This is a guy that doesn't learn from his own mistakes. He did this before.
At Oregon. They fumbled late. Stanford recovered, drove, kicked a field goal, forced overtime. Oregon lost in OT. Yeah.
That's my bigger concern, is that he didn't learn from his mistake the first time. He still thinks it's 1965 football and you have to run it out till there's 3 zeros on the clock.
And for those, and I did it earlier today, referencing the Pisarcik-Zonka Giants-Eagles fumble from 45 years ago, by the way, November of 78. John McVay was head coach of that Giants team. He did get fired 5 weeks later. I mean, and it did lead to it was shortly after them losing that game that the protest bags and signs appeared at Giants Stadium. Somebody paid to fly the banner over the stadium. About 15 years of losing football. We've had enough. It all happened after the fumble. It led to complete regime change. That's obviously not happening in Coral Gables.
No, the buyout's too big.
And it's year 2. I mean, come on. Now, if it was year 3, believe it or not, I actually think that it'd be pretty hot. So, but, now this is one less win than they have. Let's just see. They lose all these tough games that we mentioned. Now, all of a sudden, a once very promising season. Let's just say it ends, 8-4? Bowl winner loss, how happy are people heading into year 3? We'll see if this has legs, Mark. We'll see if this meltdown has legs for not only the rest of this year, but going forward for Cristobal and his tenure with Miami. Hey, we'll get back to football in a minute. I got a serious question for you. Yes, I know the subject matter I'm about to bring up. I'm going to do it anyway. So, if the favorites keep getting beat in the early rounds of Major League Baseball, do you think they'll change the format? And I say that because this is only year 2 of this 3-game wild card series where seeds 1 and 2 get a bye, 3 plays 6, 4 plays 5. I love it, by the way, for the record. I love it. I'm willing to deal with the ramifications. Last year, Mark, when they did it, the lesser seed, if you will, won 3 of the 4 playoff rounds. So road teams went 6-3, if you will, because all the wild card games were played on the road. And then in the division series, because there's some thought that the 1 and 2 seeds are at a little bit of a disadvantage because they're not playing for 5 days, while their opponents have been playing. And they're sharper, and, whatever pitching advantage that you have in game 1 is quickly negated because the team you're playing is actually starting their 2 best pitchers games 2 and 3 of the division series, and you're starting your second and third best pitchers. That's why you could argue, Mark, the Braves lost in game 1 to the Phillies. That's the game they had the big pitching edge. They sent 20-game winner Strider to the hill against the number 4 starter for the Phillies and lost. Now I could argue
really
the Phillies
about being taken out of the game too.
Yes, I know. And now I could argue that the Phillies have the pitching advantage in games 2 and 3. So, and last year in the division series, for what it's worth, the National League, you had 2 upsets. The Phillies upset the Braves, the Padres upset the Dodgers. In the American League, it went according to form. The Yankees and the Astros both won. Okay, so now this year, we had 2 and 2 in the first round. We had 2 of the seeds who were supposed to win. All right, the Phillies and the Twins. And we had 2 upsets, the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers. So far, though, Mark, in the division series, we've had 6 playoff games played. The road teams are 5-1. Only Houston winning game 1 at home against the Twins, the only home team to win a playoff game so far in the second round. So the lesser seeds, if you will, very early in these series are in really good shape. Let's just say the lesser seeds continue to do well. We had a 5 seed against a 6 seed last year in the NLCS. Let's just say we've got stuff like that happens again this year. If you're baseball and you keep having your 1 and 2 seeds that are knocked out before the LCS, are you going to change your playoff format?
Well, the first thing that I'm thinking of, would you add teams? Would that be the change into your format? Because if you want the 1 and 2 seeds to play and not have time off, would you simply just add 2 teams on each side and 1 and 2 get to play and they're playing the same way everybody else is?
So in other words, baseball turns into basketball and hockey. 16 playoff teams, 8 in each conference, or in this case, league. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, etc. The NFL is almost that way. They have 7 on each side. The one gets a bye, everybody else plays off.
And now, Mark, before they add in the NFL.
See, I actually like it. I do think the regular season needs to quote unquote mean something with all the injuries. I actually think having a bye to play for is meaningful. The NFL is very concerned about the very end of the regular season and teams not mailing in those games. Remember, they changed the end of the season. It's nothing but division games. I think the bye causes some teams to play.
I don't disagree. I just think that at some point, though, where do you get more money? 1 more playoff game. That's all. Well, it's not anything about doing the right thing, playing for the bye. I like the bye. I'm all for it, David. I just think at some point, where do you get more money? Another playoff game.
Mark, you're accusing the NFL of doing things because they're profit-based.
They're a
You
business,
mean
aren't they?
like maybe adding all these international games?
Right.
I digress. Mark, I do think baseball is going to add 2 playoff teams to each league when they expand. I do think that baseball is going to become basketball and hockey. 32 teams, and we'll go 8-8. And I actually think there's a chance, Mark, we lose 4 regular season games so that they could fit in the extra round of playoffs, say a best of 3. I think there's a chance. They may just start the season 4 days earlier in March and keep it the way it is because, baseball's into money too. But I do think by the end of this decade, we'll get that. If the A's are moving to Vegas and the Rays are staying, well, we can move forward with this expansion. I mean, seriously, by next year, when shovels are in the ground in both Vegas and St. Pete on the new stadiums, I mean, baseball can go right to expansion. As soon as they have shovels in the ground, they can move forward. And I think by the end of the decade, we'll have it. But I'm just wondering in the meantime, in the short term, because remember, baseball's already changed their playoff schedule. Remember, too many wild cards were winning when it was just 3 division champs and 1 wild card. And hell, half the time the wild card team was going to the World Series. And they thought that the wild card team wasn't put at enough of a disadvantage. That's why they added the 1-game playoff. So at least both wild card teams in each league would have to burn their ace before advancing to the next round. Are you inclined, if form continues and the lesser seeds continue to win for the rest of this week, if you're baseball, do you think about changing your playoff format?
I don't think they'll change it. I think you're spot on, David. I don't think they'll expand the playoff until you get to 32 teams. I don't think they'll have 16 of 30 making the playoffs. I don't think they'll have over half their league making the postseason. I would be highly surprised if something like that happens. I think, to your point, because expansion's coming, we all know that. When it comes, this will be part of what comes with expansion.
I'm willing to live with, if the Braves and Dodgers and Astros and if they get beat, they get beat. I'm willing to live with it. It's playoff baseball. This stuff's been happening forever. Doesn't matter how we do the format. It doesn't. I mean, there was a 2000 Yankees team won 87 games. They won the World Series. The 2006 Cardinals won 83 games. They won the World Series. I mean, this stuff's been happening. We can go all the way back. I mean, the 73 Mets won 82 games in the regular season. They took they knocked out a Reds dynasty in the LCS, and they took the A's dynasty to 7 in the World Series. I mean, it's baseball. Stuff happens.
A little baseball talk on what is largely a football Monday, and it will be on the other side. Chris Landry to join us next right here, Miller and Moulton.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. David, in March, the Savannah Bananas are coming back to Jacksonville.
Oh, wow. By the way, Mario's not winning by much in early voting.
Have another cookie.
Thank you. I'm just making sure you don't have any Oreos to eat.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
Good. How's everything?
Chris, could you start the show by taking a knee?
I could. That would do two things. Make a good point and take my ugly mug off camera for those that are watching. I do two things. Holy mackerel.
Well, everybody says he's not a good game coach.
You know what? I did it on my podcast, kind of reviewing all the college games yesterday. You know, he's had not that egregious of a mistake, but he's had a lot of those mistakes at Oregon. He's really struggled. For a guy that's, I think, a good coach and in a lot of areas, he really struggles and he hadn't gotten better at it. And man, that was really, really devastating. That's one of those inexcusable ones. You can lose games, but you can't cost your team a game like that. That's just, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like you can make mistakes. That's not a mistake. That's complete incompetence. That's just being brain dead as a coach. I hate it. I hate it.
In these parts, apparently the word that's getting out is the running back had 99 yards.
99 yards, go for 100. Yeah. Boy, he better not admit to that, because I'm sure it probably had something to do with it, because he'll get screwed. I mean, I don't know what he just.
But Chris, I actually think he has to admit to that. That to me, he's got to say, listen, it was a mistake, as opposed to just I didn't take a knee because I didn't take a knee. To me, he's got to put some illogical reason behind his,
just say, I made a dumb mistake. Here's why I did it. My heart was in the right place, and it was stupid. It's kind of the attitude.
It's on me. I screwed up. I apologize to my team. Canes universe. Blah blah blah.
It's got to learn from those type of things, man. It's just, gosh, I mean.
Not only that, it would have been a nice little Miami, North Carolina. Both would have been unbeaten. Right.
See, that's going to be the key is how they respond to that. And, Keenan, they were looking for in North Carolina. They think, an unbeaten Miami going in may have been the biggest game in, a long time, maybe since when Bobby Bowden took the Mac Brown, the first-time team in there when they were both top 5. This probably would have been the biggest game since that in North Carolina, and I think it's taken a lot of luster off. But, how they respond to it's going to be interesting, how Miami will.
Here we go, guys.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. Thanks so much for being with us. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits 1 hour from now in the 239. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I come at you from Vegas, Monday Night Football, Raiders hosting the Packers. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Chris Landry joins us at this day and time. He of LandryFootball.com, and you can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X, at Landry Football. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you?
Well, we're doing great. It was a remarkable weekend of football. We talked a little bit about on the break. Let's just start with the Canes. Chris, you know a lot of coaching staffs. You work with coaching staffs. Mario not taking the knee. This has to be a really tough one, not just for him, but for his whole team to recover from, isn't it?
It's the worst kind of mistake. People criticize coaches all the time. You should have called this play. You should have done that. But there are a lot of things that go into play calls and personnel decisions and why you do it. And a lot of it, you just don't even tell folks why, because it sounds like an excuse. But you do what you think is best. And hindsight's always 20/20. So you just deal with that. But when you have a sure win, I mean, the only thing I can think of, and I thought about it, the Joe Pisarcik, to the fumble that was a little bit more dramatic because it ended on that play. This was a 0% chance you lose that game. There's nothing you could do to lose that game at that point except what he did. Run the risk. And it was a small chance, but it's inexcusable. No question about it. It's inexcusable, and we discussed why it likely happened. It's just you can't run that risk, and it's part of the thing that if Mario struggles down the road with anything, they're going to refer back to this weekend. Remember when he did that, because it will go down as one of the biggest boneheaded coaching decisions ever at any level.
Meanwhile, how about the significance of the Oklahoma win? We were talking up Texas if they won. Well, Oklahoma's got the same schedule the rest of the way that Texas would have had. I mean, Texas's resume would have been more impressive because they won at Alabama. But Chris, what the hell's separating Oklahoma from an undefeated season if it's not Texas in the Big 12 title game?
I actually come out of that game and looking at the tape, impressed the heck out of both of those teams. It's not about what Texas didn't do. Oklahoma had a great game plan. They executed it well. And Texas had their signature win coming into this game. Now Oklahoma has theirs. I think both of these teams are legitimate playoff caliber teams. I think they'll meet again. And I don't know, one of them probably will make it, one of them won't. But there's not much that separates these two teams. They were both well coached, both well prepared. Both made mistakes, but Oklahoma just was able. I thought Dylan Gabriel was phenomenal. All hats to Oklahoma. Let's see if they can handle their business. I think the biggest issue was Texas had beaten Alabama. Oklahoma hadn't beaten a good team. They have now done that. So let's see what they do the rest of the way. And by the way, it is, in the last year of the Big 12, Brett Yormark's got to be thrilled about this. It is Oklahoma and Texas, and then there's big drop, and there's like nobody else that's even remotely close to them. Maybe Kansas is the next best. It is not like it was last year for certain.
Talk about Gabriel, the quarterback, and his ability. I mean, he stayed in the pocket so many times when that thing collapsed around him. I thought that kid showed onions throughout that game, Chris, of knowing the hit was coming and say, I'm going to take the hit to make the play.
Well, a lot of the folks, obviously, most everybody that's listening to this show is very familiar with his background, and he has that type of mettle. He is the ultimate leader. He is the ultimate team guy, hard worker, gym rat, smart, poised, accurate, ball comes out on time. He does all the little things that you want a quarterback to do. He does them very, very well. I wonder, I'm not into all the hype and everything, but this is the type of game that if he goes on to have the rest of the season, that some of the Oklahoma quarterbacks who've won big games and have gone on to bigger things down the road and maybe getting invited to New York at the end of the year for the Heisman, that's all in front of them as a team and as an individual. And obviously they're not where they are without him. But, I would also say that, like, last year when he got pounded a bunch and the defense had no answers, I got to give a lot of credit. Brent Venables has done a really good job of transforming this defense in 1 year, and I'm curious to see what they do the rest of the way, if they can handle prosperity.
Man, I wish we had a 12-team playoff this year. I mean, seriously, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State are all very good teams. We'll see if any of them are great. They're all very good. Georgia, at the very least, is very good. We don't know if anyone else in that conference will join them. Florida State, at the very least, is very good. North Carolina may join them. Oklahoma and Texas. We haven't even gotten to the Pac-12. And we could have 3 very good teams with USC, Washington, and Oregon. I mean, Chris, that's damn near a top 10 that we all think is B+, A- or better. That's a great year so far of college football.
It is. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there's not that dominant team. There's a lot of good. And so who's going to be the best of the best? I think a lot of those answers, though, David, are going to be handled by the season. I don't think USC plays good enough defense to even be in the conversation with the other teams personally, but they'll have their chance. And whoever emerges, I think we're going to have a discussion. Either we'll have more than 4 that look like they're deserving, or maybe 3 that clearly look deserving, and maybe 3 or 4 that are good enough to be that other team. And so I think there'll be a lot of discussions because of the lack of the great teams, but I think there's a lot of good. I think you're right, and I think it would make for an exciting playoff. But I do think also that we're going to start to separate a little bit. Florida State, I mean, the ACC is going to clear up. We haven't even mentioned, I don't think they're good enough to make the deep run, but the coach of the year in the half season is Jeff Brumman, what he's done at his alma mater at Louisville. I think North Carolina, Florida State will take care of itself. I think the Big Ten will take care of itself. I think the Pac-12 will take care of itself. I think Georgia and Alabama are going to take care of itself, and it's going to be fun to see what the 4 are. But I'm with you. I'm excited. I wish we had 12 as well.
Do you think Alabama's figured some things out in the fact that they've slowed it down? They're trying to run less plays, and this allows your defense to be there in the fourth quarter. I mean, so many of the styles at play, you get that Oklahoma-Texas game, for as good as Oklahoma looked on defense, by the end, there wasn't a whole lot left. Do you have to slow it down the way Alabama's doing?
Well, Alabama does, because they're not a team that they're completely opposite what had been in recent years, where they're going to score a bunch of points with great quarterback play, great receivers. They've got some talented guys that can make plays downfield, but their intermediate passing game and the ability to work the offense of the passing game is not what it has been in the past. So it's built around the running game. And look, they are not a great pass blocking unit, but they've become a little bit better and a little bit more functional running the football. The second half adjustments they made in their blocking scheme was pretty impressive to me, getting the ball out quicker. All those things that they're doing, that's coaching. See, a lot of it is, well, why wouldn't they do that early? Because you don't know what you have. You know what you got in Jalen Milroe, but you don't know what you have until you get a few games under your belt. They figured it out. They're playing good defense. They are clearly the best team in the West. They beat the third best team in the SEC, which is a distant third, is the team that Alabama just beat. So, it's Georgia, it's Alabama. Both of those teams, I think, are really good and are deserving to be in that upper tier conversation among the playoffs. But they're not a national championship team, in my view. But this is an example of a good team that is being well coached and then getting better as the year goes along.
It's also the significance of scheduling. They had Texas week 2. A lot of years they don't have Texas week 2. Look at the teams. Georgia this year was supposed to have Oklahoma week 2. Both those programs could end up benefiting greatly from not playing each other week 2, not just because one of them would have lost, but Oklahoma from a confidence standpoint, Georgia with a bunch of new players, they might not have been ready for each other week 2, and clearly
Correct.
Alabama was not ready for Texas. Hey, one NFL note before we go. Have you had more of an opportunity to zero in on the Dolphins, who right now are putting up more yards and more points per game than Kurt Warner and the 99 Rams did? Okay. I mean, it seems, Chris, the old adage, whether it's boxing or whatever the sport, if you can't catch them, how are you going to stop them?
Well, yes, I have. And what they're doing is fun. It is just schematically, it's just loads of fun. I just can't tell you. I could go on and on about it. The thing I would say, though, and this is where I come down on it, is what happens whether it's a bad day, ball bounces funny, tip balls, people can limit what you can do and keep you into the between the numbers. Bad weather. Can you win other ways? Now, their defense is what I'd like to mention a little bit. They did a nice job this past week. It was against an inferior Giants offensive line. So my thing is, the Dolphins have to do one of two things if they're going to go forward, because they're going to make the playoffs in my view, and they might win the division. We'll see. I don't know. Like the Rams, can they be explosive? Can they have all the things that fall into place? If you're a great shooting team in basketball, if you have a bad shooting night, what then? How can you win? Can the Dolphins win another way? That's the key. They're either going to have everything aligned right, and nobody can stop them. Well, I don't know. I mean, some people can outscore them. The Bills stopped them. The Bills slowed them down. Even the Patriots did some good things, and they can't do anything right now well. So I think what I want to see with them is, can they be more well-rounded?
Well, and it'll be interesting to see if that defense can get better as the year goes on. That's tough. It's tough to do in this league. You kind of are who you are.
Don't need to be great, but they need to come up with key stops. I think the model is Kansas City, modern day, because Kansas City has gotten there and won 2 titles because of their offense and because they get key stops on defense and they can run the football to help their defense out. That's what the Dolphins need to do if they're going to go where the Chiefs have been a couple of times the past few years.
He is Chris Landry. The site is LandryFootball.com. There is not many better sites out there if you want to get in deeply with the X's and O's. Chris, as always, thanks for your time.
Hey, enjoy it. Thanks a bunch. Take care.
Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. Miller and Moulton will reflect on what Chris said and have more on the other side right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686.
or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Did you see what some guy did in the marathon yesterday?
No.
His name is Kelvin Kiptum.
What marathon are we speaking of?
I don't know.
Okay.
But he ran a marathon in 2 hours and 35 seconds.
It's pretty fast.
It's 4:36 a mile.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty fast. How much did he beat the record by?
34 seconds. Holy blank. Well, Logic Man, I'll gladly, we'll
See what you did? You tried to get him to make a personal appearance and his internet went out.
kind of have to communicate with us about it, though. There needs to be money involved. You got something there? Because I got a little something if you don't.
Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah. Jesus, what is going on?
Hey, I got a text from our fearless leader, and the event for this Friday is definitely off.
Oh, really?
10 seconds.
I texted back, well, good, because I'd already booked my travel.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour. Top of the morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. And thanks for starting this week with us. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I come at you from Vegas, Monday Night Football. Raiders hosting the Packers. Mark from the cozy confines of our Southwest Florida studios. So there. Hey, I'm not doing this, we're not provocateurs. In fact, it probably would have benefited our show and our careers together and separate if we were provocateurs, if we did things for clicks. I mean, hell, we're proud of ourselves. We're week 3 now of a poll question every day. I mean, that's how non-provocateur we are.
And we haven't mentioned it since we put it up, which, by the way, is would you fire Mario Cristobal for not taking a knee against Georgia Tech on Saturday? Go to FL Sports Network, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter.
And it's damn close to 50-50, too. I'm shocked. Miller and Moulton both thought it would be like 85-15, that you'd go, oh, come on. They're not going to fire him over it. Apparently, you guys are a pretty angry bunch. What are y'all, Braves fans? No, I digress. So, okay. We mentioned the possibility of this. We did. I have harped on it a little more than you. So I'm not going to do the harping. I'm just going to mention it. If you're Robert Kraft, what are you thinking? What are you going to do?
David, I wonder the same thing because they have now suffered the 2 worst defeats of Belichick's career, I believe, in back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like an NFL team. That roster.
There we go. Now we're getting to it. Keep going, my friend. That
roster looks more USFL-esque than it does NFL-esque.
Who's responsible for the roster, Mark?
Well,
I'm sorry, Mr. Kraft. Oh, it's Coach Belichick. Okay. Well, so you're unhappy with the roster, Mr. Kraft. Well, are you prepared to take personnel decision-making away from Coach Belichick?
And when you do that, he'll want to leave.
Quite possibly.
I don't even think quite possibly. I think you want him out, tell him he's not handling personnel anymore. Bill, I don't think you're up to the job of handling personnel and coaching this team based on the roster that we have.
And see, to me, the reason, first off, he's the owner. He doesn't need a reason. But the justification, Mark, is not how bad this team appears to be. It's the last 3+ years. He managed to cajole a 10-win season out of Mac a couple years ago. He did. Well coached, fundamentals, the whole put yourself in a position to win in the fourth quarter. We made less mistakes than them, that type of team. Similar, quite frankly, to what the Giants did last year, going 9-7-1. We didn't really know how good the 10-7 Patriots team was, but next thing you know, there they were. By the way, when they went to the playoffs that year, do you remember how that turned out? They got beat by 4 touchdowns by Buffalo. 4 touchdowns. Now, you could argue that Buffalo team might have been the best Bills team they've had during this run and probably should have gone to the Super Bowl that year. That was the one where they had the lead with 13 seconds to go in Kansas City and blew it. But still, I mean, they got beat by 4 touchdowns in a playoff game. That's his only winning season since Brady. This is year 4 post-Brady. They've won 7, 10, and 8 games, and now here they are at 1-4. And to me, it's not what the record is the rest of the year. Because, Mark, I can go through it. There, believe it or not, there's 8 wins on this schedule.
There are, we looked at the schedule. It doesn't look to be overly difficult.
Right. I mean, you've got 2 or 3 in which you're like, well, those are definitely losses. But then the rest is, quite frankly, the middle of the NFL, and when they get together, any damn thing can happen. Remember that team that won 10 games, by the way, I think at one point in the year was 2-4. And then they put together like a 5-game winning streak in the middle of it. He can't coach. But I mean, Mr. Kraft is completely justified in saying, Bill, I got to take personnel away from you. I'm sorry.
Well, not that was ever a great free agent destination, but it was a great free agent destination for filling the holes that were needed. He was always able to find this piece to fill that in. And guys went to New England to play for Belichick that it may have been a little tougher, but they were winning. Who the hell wants to go play for him right now?
Exactly. I mean, unless you overpay.
Well, then he's not going to overpay.
No, he usually doesn't.
If he'd overpaid, they'd have Hopkins.
And Mark's talking about DeAndre Hopkins. So, but if you're Robert Kraft, first off, are you right now thinking, I got to bring in a new personnel guy? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Are you prepared to lose him as coach over it?
I don't want to.
Obviously.
I want Belichick to be my coach for life.
Right. But are you prepared? Like, is this enough of is this important where, listen, Bill, you can't handle personnel anymore. I've lost confidence in you with personnel. I'm bringing in a new personnel guy. Well, then I quit. Okay. I mean, are you there yet, Mark, if you're Robert Kraft?
I am.
Okay.
Because I look at the division, I look at the quarterbacks that are in the division, and I see us being no better than 3rd right now. And that's after Aaron Rodgers retires from the Jets.
And I'm there too. Hell, I was there during the offseason. I mean, I predicted he was not going to be the Patriots coach next year. That this was going to happen. Now, I have to admit, I didn't think they'd look this bad. I thought they'd look a lot like they did last year. They were 8-9 last year. Had a chance. Remember, if they won the final game of the year, they would have been the wild card, not the Dolphins. But I thought they were going to be a 7-win team. And I didn't think they'd look awful. I just thought they'd look like they didn't have a ton of talent. Now they look like both. Now we could then talk. Now the irony is, he may want personnel power the next place he goes, and obviously someone's going to hire him.
Absolutely. He'll get personnel again if he wants it. If what we're talking about has any legs whatsoever. And I don't know if Robert Kraft is there yet, but he's got to be getting closer because he's not getting any younger.
And what I'm curious about is Boston sports fan there? I mean, remember, it was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. What was it, Mark? What was it, Brady or Belichick? Quote, "In Bill we trust."
So Patriot fan, is it still in Bill we trust? 21,000's the text line. If Robert Kraft demanded that Bill Belichick took away personnel decisions and brought someone else in, would you be okay with that? Do you think that's the move they should make?
Are you prepared to lose Belichick over it? Because I think that it's a no-brainer. He'd be gone. I think Bob would technically fire him and pay him because he feels he owes him. But essentially, Bill would quit.
21,000's the text line. How will the Patriots handle what's upcoming? Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. David, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, because my screen's completely black right now. Not the StreamYards, the entire computer.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, just checking. Hopefully it pops back on here at some point.
I see you. That's weird.
I've just got a blank screen.
Huh. Okay.
There we go. Just put it back on StreamYard, not touch it again until 9:30.
Right. Yeah. Yep. All the turn it off, turn it on jokes. Yep.
You're not going to believe this, but they're talking Jets on Get Up right now.
Get out. What is OOO? Yeah, I listen. Once again, hate to say it. We're not responsible for the signals.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Wish we were. Now, here's the problem. If one of us wins the Powerball, the show is ending. All right. But if by chance, okay, it didn't end, honestly, I would spend the money and buy a flipping signal. But yeah, we're on a couple of different apps. Just, unfortunately, that's the way you got to go. Well, ugly bag of water. I don't know who you know to make that happen, but okay. Yeah. Hey, I don't care. Just as long as we're paid in cash. I don't care. I don't care if only aliens can hear the show. I know, KW. Well, but in theory, if we're streaming KW, you should be able to get it.
Boy, the comments on the Twitch chat or on the text line are all anti-Bill from Patriot fans.
Okay. I want to hear them.
Okay, I'll read them.
Caught me off guard with that one.
15 seconds.
Can you text Tig that 104.3 is off the air?
Gotcha.
And their signals suck.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes until our show is done along the network, up and down I-75. The Diamond District bonus hour awaits at the top of the hour. For our loyal base in the 239, we are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in Vegas for Monday Night Football. Packers, Raiders. All right. Place your bets accordingly.
Well, I'm just curious of one thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Game will end around 11:30 Eastern time.
Yeah, 11:15 to 11:30, yes.
You going to just hit the tables all night and come right to the show without sleep?
Well, full disclosure, Joe's 2 spotters I have to take to the airport.
Right.
And then I have to head back to the hotel casino that I'm at. So I figure that I'll walk in the doors here 9:30-ish local time is the hope.
Okay.
And I have to walk past the casino to go to the elevator. I don't have to walk through the casino. I have to walk past it. It's kind of like you with the double stuffed Oreos in the cabinet.
This many days since I've had an Oreo.
Uh-huh.
It's at 1 right now.
Right. And meanwhile, I will be talking to myself saying, so when are you going to be back in Vegas? Not the rest of this year. Okay. You have no idea if he'll be back here next year. Okay. Come on, just half hour. You're not going to go to bed right away anyway.
A little Fred Flintstone voice in your head. Bet.
Besides, you've got time after the show tomorrow. You can take a nap, and I do. See, I have a noon flight out of here tomorrow. Well, the show's done 7 a.m. local time. So I can take a 2-hour power nap after the show tomorrow morning and still easily make my flight.
Not to mention sleep the whole way home on the flight.
Right. Which I'm good at doing. I can sleep on planes. So, listen, here's what you need to know. So, Mark, the answer is yes.
Good.
Apparently, the Packers have like one of the worst run defenses in the league. They're third to last in yards given up per game rushing, and they're in the bottom quarter of the league in yards per carry. Here's the crux of the matter, though. The Raiders are the worst rushing team in the NFL, which with Josh Jacobs, you'd think, how the hell is that possible? But they're averaging 65 yards rushing a game. They've yet to score 19 points in a game this year, the Raiders. They're averaging 15 and a half a game. They've also committed the second most turnovers. But the game within the game, Mark, is the Packers' run defense sucks and the Raiders' running game sucks. So which one doesn't suck tonight?
Like to
That's
think the Raiders are going to try to run the ball. They have a really good running back and try to determine the game by dominating the line of scrimmage.
Early? I mean, I think they're going to do Garoppolo's going to do with Devontae Adams what Burrow did with his diva wide receiver yesterday. I mean, 37 targets and 29 catches. I mean, that's what I think is going to happen. But, I just wanted to give you some numbers. Raiders a 2-point favorite. The over-under seems high to me at 45.5, considering the Raiders have yet to score 19 points in a game. That seems high to me. But what do I know?
So we got a couple of texts, David. We asked the question, in Bill We Trust, are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
This texter said, we are prepared to lose Belichick.
Wow, he sounds like he's talked to his friends.
Right.
We are prepared.
It's time to move on, both as coach and GM. It is an unwatchable product they are putting on the field. Let's ride with completely new staff and direction. If I were Mr. Kraft, I'd take personnel away from Bill.
Right. But see, we're asking, just so you know, we think that that's the conclusion he's going to come to. We think Belichick will not want to stay on answering to someone else. So are you prepared to lose arguably the greatest coach of all time?
They've had a terrible offensive line for 3 years. Belichick should have been stripped of his GM duties after drafting Cole Strange in the first round, supposedly to help the O-line. In Bill We Trust, that ship has sailed. So based on the text that we've received, and those are just the New England fans that are able to get to their phones and type in 21,000 without breaking their phone on the ground.
Well, just want to make sure, because remember, the fear of the unknown. You don't know what you're going to get. I mean, Kraft hasn't hired somebody in a quarter century. I mean, we'll say the three coaches he's had have been Parcells, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick. I mean, it's pretty damn good.
That is pretty good.
I mean, there's a real good chance he's going to bring in a lesser coach.
So that's just one of the questions we're asking today. What would you do if you were running the Patriots? And our poll question is, would you fire Mario Cristobal for not taking a knee against Georgia Tech? It only cost him the game.
Now, I have to admit, you worded the question more harshly than, because I think it's a fireable offense. I would not have fired him. it's the discussion that we have all the time. Do we have to fire this person? Why can't we suspend them? Why can't you call them in and go, dude, am I going to have to hire a game management coach that stands next to you with a headset?
Maybe just have him read a book about how to coach football games, something like that. A little book report action.
Here's the problem. You're the guy who hired him and you gave him all the money. It's not a good reflection on you either.
Right.
Why
for the recruiting?
No. You get the whole thing.
You get the whole thing. You didn't hire him for the recruiting. You hired him to be your head coach. He's not the recruiting coordinator at the University of Miami. He is the head football coach. He is running a multi-million-dollar business. He is the head guy, and he didn't know how to take a knee at the end of the game. And I think Chris Landry was right, and he was with us 45 minutes ago when he said this forever is stuck to Mario in Miami.
Unless he wins. Then we look back at it and go, man, remember year 2 when he forgot to take a knee against Georgia Tech? Boy, it's come a long way since.
Or every time there's a coaching decision made that goes against Miami, they will bring up, yeah, and remember he didn't take that knee either. It all started when he didn't take the damn knee against Georgia Tech.
I mean, Felipe, Mr. Freeman at Notre Dame, don't you think the 10 men at the end of the Ohio State game is going to live with him for a while? Whew. And by a while, I mean until he makes the playoff. And I think the same with Mario. Till Mario makes an ACC championship game, the end of this Georgia Tech game's living with him.
There's a great question. Will he make an ACC championship game before the ACC goes away?
Come on. Wow. It's a lot of snark for a Monday. That's a lot of snark for a Monday. Come on now. Come on. Can't we keep the conference together at least through the rest of the season?
We are keeping the conference together for the rest of the season. I'm just looking forward, David. Looking ahead.
We do like to do that on this show. That's true.
With those powerhouses like Duke and Louisville in that conference, who knows when they'll get to a conference championship game?
Listen, they're just we didn't talk about this last week. Late in the week, the Big Ten released its football schedule, not the dates, but they listed the opponents and where the games are being played for the next 5 years. 5 years.
And?
Well,
they released it for next year before they put Oregon and Washington in the conference and threw that into a garbage pile within 2 months, David. Not like they can't do it again. You actually think, this was in pen. You can't erase this ink. This is set now.
I just wanted to point out they did, like the SEC at least basically said, well, here's who everybody's playing in 24. We'll deal with 25 when we get to 25. We don't know how many games we're playing in conference. We don't know how many teams we'll have. Let's just take this a year at a time. Big Ten's like, here we are.
I don't know if you've seen that commercial with Amazon Prime or one of them, one of the AIs, it used to take months to do the schedule. Now we can do 300 schedules in 48 seconds. It's not that big of a deal anymore.
Don't get me going on AI. First off, I'm old enough to remember when it was Allen Iverson, okay?
That's right.
So I'm still having a hard time. Every time I see it, I'm having a hard time of actually saying out loud what it is that it stands for. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't he retire? He's in the Hall of Fame. What's he coming back for? And what does he have to do with schedules? Anyway.
But yes, the Big Ten, they've got it through 2028 or something like that, opponents?
Yep. 5 years worth of schedules. I'm like, damn. Look like it's got some good games here. Curious how many of these schools will still be around. Look at you. Getting all snarky with, well, Mario Cristobal and the Canes make an ACC title game while we still have an ACC. Look at you.
We don't go more than 2 weeks, though, that conference getting blown up.
Well, I do think the spring of 24 is a pretty big time period. It seems like make it happen time to me, but what do I know?
And
how about this as a poll question that we didn't ask? We got 3 first-place Florida NFL teams. How many of them finished in first?
Looks like tomorrow's poll question's done. This show is already starting to take shape. For those of you along the network, Pat Kerwin on the show tomorrow as well.
It's part of the shape-up, baby. Not only a poll question every day, hell, sometimes we have them in advance.
But we've asked you if you think Belichick, if you would keep Belichick, if you were the player personnel, or if you were running the Patriots, if you were Robert Kraft, would you take personnel away, knowing that taking personnel away could be the end of Belichick as your head coach? Are you ready to make that move in New England?
Wow. We've yet to encounter one Patriots fan not prepared to lose Belichick. They're like, yeah, it's time.
They're all swearing at us into their car radio right now, David. What do you mean?
I don't know. They just lost to the Saints 34-0. Now, if we brought this up 2 weeks ago, that's one thing. But after the last 2 weeks, I don't know, Mark. Got the Red Sox finishing in last 3 of the last 4 years. Now you're going to have the Patriots with 3 losing seasons out of the last 4. I mean, I think there's only so much that fan base can handle. The 20 years leading up to it was pretty good.
They're just going to have to rely on the Celts and the Bruins, huh?
Exactly. Boy, they're really struggling.
Exactly. It's been so tough being a Boston sports fan for this past couple decades.
Yeah, it really has.
That's really the other part. I think the ones that I know are still playing with house money. So this whole talk doesn't even resonate with them right now.
So in other words, Belichick still got like 2-3 more years. It's like, keep him around till he breaks the record.
I definitely think there's some of that. And do you want him doing it somewhere else if you're a Patriot fan? Or do you want him doing it in New England?
Nope. Him being a Las Vegas Raiders head coach, Washington Commanders head coach,
LA Charger head coach.
Oh, getting dirty. Get you snarky and dirty on a Monday.
Miller and Moulton. Along the network, we'll be back tomorrow morning. In the 239, it's the Diamond District Bonus Hour. That's next on the Florida Sports Network.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Ron DeSantis is going to be on Morning Joe tomorrow? Holy crap. His polling must suck. Wow. Yinzer, I think Bill does get to Shula's record. But now with the Patriots. If I put the over under DC at 5.5, which way are you going for Patriots wins?
Front Office Sports. The deal between the PGA Tour and Saudi Arabia's public investment is running into trouble.
What kind of trouble?
It's a damn podcast. Of course it is.
$15 seconds. Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour edition of Miller and Moulton on this Monday. We hope you had a great weekend, and we thank you for starting your week off with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. I'm in Vegas for Monday Night Football, Packers and Raiders tonight. Green Bay, surprisingly, with a win, they're 3-2. That's right in the playoff mix, baby. They can't afford to have happen to them what happened to Washington on Thursday. They were 2-2 hosting the Bears and let it get away. Packers an underdog tonight. I know there's not a lot of interest. There's no Rodgers. There's no Favre. Raiders don't look any good, but it's two good brands. It's football. So there you got to watch playoff baseball.
There you
Phillies
go.
and Braves.
There you go. And what did the Phillies and Braves do to make people like me want to watch that game more than they want to watch Monday Night Football? They're starting at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's true.
6 o'clock from 6:07 first pitch or whatever the hell it is. But that game should be over with mid first quarter, late first quarter.
Yeah, end of the first quarter, I'd say. Yeah.
At the very latest.
Mm-hmm.
At the speed in which baseball games are being played right now.
Yeah. Although I'll tell you, the Orioles-Rangers game took that was like a Yankees-Red Sox game from years gone by yesterday. That one took like 3:40. That was woof. 11-8 will do that with the Orioles pitchers walking 11 just by themselves. Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm borderline giddy. Because I think, giddy. I know exactly what I said, and here's why I said it. Because I really think for the first time in the history of Miller and Moulton, we have a good Miami Dolphins team. And I'm not judging it bad. They played one of the 5 worst teams in the league yesterday. They're playing one of the 5 worst teams in the league this coming Sunday. But, Mark, this is modern day NFL. You don't have to, they're really, 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 really good on one side of the ball. So far, they've stayed healthy. I mean, the Bills had a disastrous day yesterday. Even in beating the Dolphins, they lost their best cornerback. He's out for the year. In losing to the Jags yesterday, which puts the Dolphins in first place, thank you very much, by a full game.
Yeah, because of that inexplicable loss to the Jets by the Bills in week 1. That's going to come back and bite them.
And now they lost, I think, their most valuable player defensively, even more than Von Miller. They lost Matt Milano. All the defensive signals, 150 tackles a year, could rush the passer. They have no depth at inside linebacker. None. It was the one guy on that side of the ball they could not afford to lose. Even more than Von Miller's loss hurt them last year, I think Matt Milano's loss is that damaging, if not more so, to the Bills defensively this year. I mean, Mark, when yesterday got done, I thought to myself, wait a minute. Are the Miami Dolphins going to win the AFC East? And I did not think that even leading into Buffalo when they were undefeated. I still thought it was the Bills' division. And Miami was going to have to prove that they were better than them. The Bills are going to have to do what teams don't do, Mark. The Bills need to trade draft picks for players. I mean, they're missing their leading tackler and their number 1 corner. You don't replace guys like that. You don't. They're not on the roster. They're not sitting at home on their couch waiting for a phone call. This is a number one corner and 150 tackles a year, all the signals, heart and soul, the defense guy. You got to go get players to replace them. And yeah, when the Dolphins game was over yesterday, I mean, Mark, they humiliated an NFL team and they were -3 in turnovers. I mean, that doesn't happen. You lose games when you commit 3 turnovers. The Dolphins blew out a team committing 3 turnovers yesterday. Even getting blown out by the Bills, offensively, they moved the ball up and down the field. I mean, I don't know if you're going to stop Miami. I don't know how many times, Mark, they're not going to score 28 points this year.
And the problem for the Bills and for the Cowboys, who lost an elite corner, is that you can't, there are only so many guys you can go trade for. And typically, you don't get, the Rams traded for Ramsey in midseason. Those trades don't happen that often.
No, I mean, remember the Eagles midseason last year? They added 2 defensive linemen. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, what'd they do? They added a D lineman, Von Miller, and Jalen Ramsey. They mortgaged some of their future. I mean, I'm sorry. If I'm Buffalo, I got to mortgage some of the future, man. But looking forward for the Dolphins, I'm like, holy mackerel. Vic's going to figure some things out defensively. They're going to play better defensively. Hell, they're going to get Jalen Ramsey in 4 to 6 weeks defensively.
That is the one thing that we're not really talking about, is the fact that while everybody else is losing players, the Dolphins are actually getting a key player back.
I mean, they're getting a number 1 cornerback. I mean, they're getting a top 5 corner in the league back. I mean, when yesterday got done, Mark, I thought to myself, because you know me and the whole if the playoffs started today, and I just started writing it down. And the Dolphins are the 2 seed. They're tied with the Chiefs for best record in the conference. And I'm like, are they really in play for this rarefied air? We haven't had that. This is the year of South Florida sports, man.
There's a window.
Now I know.
I was going to say there's a window for the Dolphins to do something special this year.
Yes, there is. Even this Chiefs team, this is not a dynamic team.
No. I'm glad you said that, David, because we thought a whole lot of the AFC before the season started.
Yep.
Well, what do we think of the Bengals right now? They don't look like a dominant. They're good. They got a good quarterback. If they can get Chase the ball, obviously they can win, but they're 2-3. They're not world beaters. The Bills, who dominated the Dolphins, we just went through what happened to them in the last 2 weeks on the defensive side of the ball. The Chiefs don't have a receiver to save their life.
Nope. I mean, right now, listen, they can't beat Buffalo. I'll grant you that. It's like the Cowboys can't beat the Niners. I mean, they just can't. The Cowboys will play the Eagles every day of the week. Cowboys want no part of the Niners. The Dolphins want no part of the Bills. They don't. They haven't figured it out yet. And they got nothing for Josh Allen. They don't. Vic's making $2.5 million a year. Dude, figure something out the next time you play Buffalo, because you guys got nothing for Josh Allen. He looks like the greatest player of all time against you guys. That's how good he is. But against everybody else, Buffalo's their kryptonite. But against everybody else right now, Dolphins and the rest of the AFC. Seriously. Right now, if I were to somehow tell you the Dolphins would not play the Bills in the playoffs, which obviously I can't choreograph that out, that's their kryptonite. Okay? If But we all know this stuff happens. When it's your year, you avoid, Mark, you and I are tennis fans. When Federer finally won the French, what happened? Somebody beat Nadal in the quarters. He didn't have to play him. Thank you. Now I can get the career Grand Slam. I can't beat this guy on clay.
Why are we talking about Louisville this year? Look at their schedule. They avoid all the big boys in the ACC. Happens to work out that way. You need breaks, luck, fortune, whatever the case, whatever you may want to call it, you need it.
And right now, if I could say to you, listen, you're not going to play Buffalo in the playoffs. Like you wouldn't say, well, hell, we'll play anybody then. Quite frankly, if you said to a Cowboys fan, listen, you're not going to believe this, but I can arrange it so that you guys make the playoffs and you don't play the Niners. They'd be like, well, then fine. Okay. Are you sure about that? No. I got it I got some inside information. You don't have to play the Niners.
Dak still figured out a way to throw a pick.
I knew it. You know what? That was not good Dak yesterday.
No,
it wasn't.
Nope. Funny what happens when, that's an elite. That's not even a good defense. That's an elite defense.
Yeah, sure is. Mm-hmm.
It's funny what happens to Dak every time he plays a good team.
Well, it doesn't help that, CD Lamb had to be a difference maker in that game. And, the officiating crew, they let the Niners, they like to grab and hold in the secondary. Okay.
They played a little of that old Seahawks defense. We dare you to call penalties on us.
Exactly. And it shut CD down. And CD was the guy who needed to be a difference maker in that game. Him and Pollard needed to be the difference makers. And obviously they weren't. And you can't turn it over 4 times. Come on. Against anybody, never mind the Niners, please. 3 interceptions and a fumble. A fumble on what? The 7-yard line? Come on.
But the fact that you spotted him 14 before you had a first down is more troubling than.
Yeah. It's a problem.
You can't put yourself in a hole like that against a really good football team.
You mean because the Niners had more first downs than the Cowboys had plays at in the early second quarter of the game? It was 8-7.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
That would seem to be a problem to me.
Mm-hmm. But seriously, right now, have I had a few too many mixed drinks and I didn't put food down as a base in my stomach and then I'm a little tipsy, but I'm getting giddy about the Dolphins. I'm thinking well, wow, we're gonna make. Even Chris Landry said, well, they're making the playoffs. It's just a matter of whether or not they can go to the Super Bowl or not. Remember, we're talking about the Miami Dolphins. He said that about the Miami Dolphins. Not the Shula Zonka Dolphins, not the Shula Marino Dolphins. Right.
And after Carolina, they go to Philadelphia. Another big physical team, another big test.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To see what they can do against a defensive line that's going to be able to shove them around a little bit.
Yep. But
that game will be cinema.
But Slay and Bradbury can't run with those receivers. And they're good corners, but they can't run with those receivers. That's a beautiful contrast right there. Got to wait a week for it. Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
They're so much fun to watch.
Yes, they are.
Like coming right out of halftime, just immediate deep ball to Tyreek Hill. Like that pick six never happened. He's wide open.
Yeah, you know why? Who can run with him?
No one.
Golly. You know how sometimes a team in a sport is just so damn much fun to watch that you're not even a fan of the team and you're like, God, I hope these guys keep winning. The Dolphins are going to become that team if they can keep winning. People around the country are going to be like, God, because they haven't seen I mean, there's a whole nation that basically hasn't seen the Dolphins play in 25 years.
Right. But I feel like people are already starting to do that. Like people are coming up to me like, "Hey, man, y'all got
but that's in Florida." I'm
right, but I'm thinking Fort Myers. Everyone who's from here is not originally from here.
No doubt.
All different fan bases. Packers fans are telling me that. Bears fans, whatnot.
Plus, the other thing is, Felipe, when you've lived in the 239, we have watched so much bad Dolphins football for so long. To actually see good, entertaining Dolphins football is like, seriously? Thank God.
And again, what's intriguing about all this is that they are coming for the heat. They are coming for the heat. They are going to take back Miami.
Yeah, that's a Miami thing. That's a you thing. That doesn't matter to really the rest of the world.
Of course. But to Miami people, it's like, it's interesting because for 20 years, it was the Heat town. Now it'll be what it used to be, which is Dolphins town.
God, it'd be great. They could be good.
From day one, I've heard it from you guys that the NFL is better when the Dolphins are good.
Well, we're just old enough to. I mean, Felipe, I'm not kidding. When you watched Monday Night Football, if you didn't see the Steelers, the Raiders, the Cowboys, or the Dolphins, you were like, what the hell's this game? Right? Those are the teams you saw on Monday Night Football with like a little bit of the Minnesota Vikings thrown in every now and then. Then in the 80s, when the Redskins and the Giants got good, I mean, the Bears. But Monday Night Football made its franchise in the 70s, and they made it on the backs of the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Steelers.
Damn right they did. I think, by the way, what's behind me has happened.
Seriously?
I just very little eavesdropping during that last break. I went to go say something, and Chris and Tom, the PD, were talking about changing promos and doing this and doing that. And I've let AJ know, and I'm just like, and then they stopped when they heard me. So that was why I.
Curious whether or not they made the decision or he made the decision.
I will be finding out momentarily. I will let you know.
Because he didn't
Before your
change his
production meeting.
Well, you have an hour.
I know.
I don't follow him, but I looked him up, and I don't believe he's changed his Twitter.
Yeah, but did he change his bio? Because the bio has mentions nothing about this.
Oh, really? See, underneath it, it said co-host of.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, it doesn't say that at all.
Oh, okay.
What it says is sports talk show host for 36 years and counting.
Interesting. You know what we should do? When one of us takes off, we should
Thank
have
you.
him.
Thank you. I was thinking it before you said it.
I would take money out of my pocket to do it. People want to know why we get along so well.
Was thinking it before you said it.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. It's the Diamond District bonus hour. That sale continue this week, or was that a weekend?
It was over the
thing?
weekend. It was over the weekend. Don't worry, there'll be more.
Oh, I know. Although, let me tell you, the Buckeyes fan, but the Dolphins fan's a Canes fan, isn't he?
Yeah, but I don't think that matters right now.
Okay.
I mean, the Miami sports fan can just completely get rid of one team if one team's winning.
That's exactly what's happening. I mean, less than 24 hours apart, that UM and Dolphins game were,
Listen to his voice. Listen to the good mood he is in based on one team.
Mark,
when the show began this morning, before it began, I looked at Felipe. I said, stand up. And he stood up, and he thought I was doing something to make him more awake, that I had some new idea of how to keep him alive and vibrant through the whole show. And I said, Felipe, take a knee for me. Yep, that's how you do it. And he got angry, and it went away as soon as we started talking about the Dolphins.
Mark, we're in the air. We're on the ground. We're always in control. And when you say Miami,
you took it, Super Bowl. Miami Dolphins. But I mean,
Houston,
that's how.
Stop. Houston.
No. They had it first. Number one. So, I mean, the Canes could have been unbeaten. They could have been, they could have piggybacked on what the Dolphins are doing. And instead, people are just like, oh, well, we're done with them. See how they do next year. Well, they let me know when they're playing Florida State. Otherwise, how about them Fins? Fins up, baby.
And they'll just pound Carolina this week.
Yep.
Pound them.
Yep. They'll be 5-1 going to Philly. Mm-hmm. Yep. Last year at this time, they were 3-3. Remember, they won 3, lost 3, won 5, lost 4. Or no, lost 5. They went win 3, lose 3, win 5, lose 5 last year. So that's the other thing. They're putting last year in the rearview mirror, Mark. Doing things differently this year.
And that Eagles game's a Sunday nighter.
Yeah.
Cinema.
Well, they owe NBC after the Sunday nighter they have this Sunday coming up. I mean, Giants, Bills. I mean,
hey, who knows, David? It could be more entertaining than the Sunday night game that was played last night. And that was supposed to be a marquee game of the league.
I know. That's true. 21-7 at the half. Yep. 42-10 final. When do the Eagles and Niners play? Boy, that's going to be shades of years past in which you're just like, well, circle it.
December 3rd.
Philly?
In Philly. In fact, after the bye, just to get ahead of ourselves for the Eagles, this is a stretch. They go into the bye playing the Cowboys. Their bye week is week 10. They come out of the bye and play the Chiefs on the road, the Bills at home. The Bills at home, the Niners at home, and then at the Cowboys.
Huh. That's a pretty good schedule.
That's a really good schedule.
That's like old days of the SEC West. I mean, wow. That's like getting through the Big Ten East this year. That's pretty good. That Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl rematch. That's just the second time in the history of Monday Night Football that they will be getting a Super Bowl rematch from the year before. This is like year 54, I think, of Monday Night Football. Been doing it a while. Just the second time they gave Monday Night Football a Super Bowl rematch.
Well, in modern days, we've had a lot of Super Bowl rematches week 1. They love doing that.
Mm-hmm. But they put that on Sunday night.
Right. And then there was,
Thursday.
a decade in which they didn't care what games Monday Night Football got.
Right. I have a question, by the way. Will the Niners lose before December? Remember, they ran the table to end last year's regular season. Didn't they win like their last 8?
Well, Brock Purdy's never lost a regular season game. I know that.
Right. Well, and McCaffrey has only lost 1 regular season game since the Niners acquired him.
Niners go to the Browns this week.
Okay. Cleveland coming off a bye for what it's worth.
To the Vikings the following week on a Monday nighter.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Home for the Bengals before their bye week.
Okay.
They come
just
out
right
of the
now.
bye week.
Right now, my $20. They're going to hit the bye undefeated, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So they'll beat Cleveland, Minnesota, and the Bengals, is what you're saying.
And then they're going to lose coming off the bye week.
Really?
Yes. At Jacksonville.
You did that for me, didn't you?
I did. But if they beat Seattle, because that's a divisional game and a tough game, that's who they play. They play at Seattle on a Thursday night before they play at Philadelphia.
Oh, so they'll have a mini bye before they play the Eagles.
They will.
They'll play the short week at Seattle, and if they get through it, they'll have 10, 11 days to prepare for the Eagles.
But they've got Seattle on each side of Philadelphia. They go at Seattle, home for or at the Eagles, and then home for Seattle.
Wow. Just wondering, the 72 Dolphins are waiting to, toast the champagne. I'm just curious how long they're going to have to wait. That's all. We're down to 2, but the 2 are Philly and San Francisco. Just saying.
They may have to wait until November 12th when San Francisco comes to Jacksonville.
I can't believe you're saying that with a straight voice. That's impressive.
They just got done beating the Bills.
But it was in London. Come on.
Oh, so they have more of a home advantage at London than they do in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Although
they are London.
Did you see the crowd at that game? It was 70% Bills fans. It was a flat-out road game.
It was a road game. Yep, Thurman Thomas leading the cheers. It was the Bills Mafia. They were there. I will say this. The Bills, I'm surprised. They flew over Friday. When you were watching them play yesterday morning, didn't you think they looked a little sluggish? I thought, man, that's a late flyover. Like, for example, the Ravens are flying tomorrow, I think, to London to get ready to play the Titans on Sunday.
I mean, Buffalo to London's not that much different than going out west by what, an hour and a half more on the plane?
Yeah, I guess. I know. I'm just saying it just seemed, that to me seems late. I would have flown over Thursday. That's all. I thought they looked sluggish. I did. I thought they looked slow for them. Remember, we just saw them against the Dolphins. Did that look anything like the team that played the Dolphins?
No, it did not.
So,
but then again, they have the Dolphins number.
Oh, boy, do they ever. Do they ever.
And Jacksonville played a really good football game.
They did. A mature football game. They had not looked like a mature team yet this year. They went over to London. They won 2 games, and they looked very mature in doing so. And they've got a Trevor Lawrence. That's going to be a problem for teams for only about 10 more years. No big deal or anything. Nothing to see here.
And they put Lawrence on his back a few times. I think he was sacked 5 times in the game.
Yep. And he got up, didn't turn it over, made the right decisions. And late when Buffalo put them on their heels, they attacked and they counterattacked and scored.
And before they could have a diva wide receiver problem, they threw Ridley the ball a bunch.
Yes.
Because he hadn't gotten it in a few games, David. So exactly. He got a bunch of targets, had 7 catches for over 100 yards.
Yeah. You feed the beast, Mark. Feed them.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah. Come on, Adam. It's simple. You root for Minshew to play well and for the Jags to win.
After week 12, you can flex Monday night games, or week 10?
After Thanksgiving. So I don't know what week that is. It's not 10. I know that. I think it's 12 or 13. I think it's 13. Because technically there's 18 weeks, but.
Gotcha.
But
Just
it's the Monday after.
Answering a text, David. You know me.
It's the Monday after Thanksgiving. That week we're allowed to. Let me look here.
Yeah, what is the deal with Robinson, Adam? Do you know?
Technically, it is week 12. Technically. Yes, well, we will not be showing the Bears and the Vikings. I think there's a very good chance of that. Here's the thing, though. CBS will protect the Bills-Eagles that week. the first 4 games on the schedule can't be moved. It's the Thanksgiving slate and the
Friday game.
Right.
Steelers, Bengals. Bucks, Colts could be for first place.
Could we do Saints, Falcons?
You could be doing Steelers, Bengals.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll be doing.
Although you got the Bengals and the Jags the next week. Probably wouldn't show the Bengals twice in a row on Monday Night Football.
Do we come back to Vegas just to show the Chiefs? Especially if we can get a certain someone to appear. The Jets want to play on Black Friday every year. And right now the league won't take them up on it. But the Jets have raised their hand and said, we'll play this game every year. We want this to be our thing.
Sean Payton must spend Sunday nights and Monday mornings looking at his bank account.
And it is big.
Going, yep, I took this job. I took this job. I can stay here with Russ. I can stay here with Russ. I can do this. I can do this.
Actually, he's saying, I took this job. I took this job. I can get rid of Russ. I can get rid of Russ.
Ten seconds.
Yeah, I'm at the end of the strip, DC. I'm by the convention center, the Fountain Blue.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Home stretch. 22 minutes till the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. Miller and Moulton. Along the Florida Sports Network, although this hour is the Diamond District bonus hour exclusively to our loyal listeners in Southwest Florida. Thanks to Todd and Jason. They're great at what they do. We're above average at what we do. We're glad that they put their name associated with our show.
And stop in, tell them we sent you, and just yell at Jason, fins up!
Right.
I wouldn't even do anything else. Fins up! Where's Jason at? Fired
so
up.
If you buy an engagement ring, okay, and you go to propose, can we like turn that into something? If you go and take a knee, are you taking a Cristobal? Too soon?
Oh, that's fun.
Can we have some fun with this? In fact, if you're a South Florida jeweler, do you not sign Mario Cristobal up and do an ad in which he takes a knee and proposes?
You know he wouldn't, because you know the egos of these coaches. But David, can you imagine seeing a commercial with Cristobal holding a diamond and saying, Canes fans, will you forgive me?
Yes. And he gets down on knee.
Gets down on one knee.
The official diamond of the Miami Hurricane. Okay, and he holds it forward. I mean, come on. And then his wife, you bring his wife in at the end of the ad, and she goes, "You didn't do that when you proposed to me."
Either that or the ad is with his wife.
Right.
And saying when Mario got home from work, I told him, you took a knee for me. You need to start doing one for Miami now as well.
That's rich.
See, I would have her just snap at him and go, "He didn't get down on one knee for me." And he could go, "Honey, I'm learning. I'm learning."
All solid.
Just, Todd and Jason, I know you guys, you got an ad agency and all that, and your marketing ideas. Just throwing stuff out there for you. It's harmless. It's free.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1781. Washington and the French start bombing Yorktown, the last battle of the Revolutionary War. 1915, Woodrow Wilson becomes the first U.S. president to attend a World Series game. Today in 1919, the Reds beat the White Sox 10-5 for a 5-3 series victory. This was the Black Sox series and the last World Series to take place without a commissioner of baseball in place. NBC formed today in 1926. The Yankees go back-to-back in 28 with sweeps in consecutive World Series. This time they beat the Cardinals. Today in 41, FDR approves an atomic program that would become the Manhattan Project. The Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers in 49. In 5, it would start a run of 5 straight World Series titles for the Yankees. Today in 61, Whitey Ford's the MVP, and the Yankees win again, beating the Reds for their 19th championship. 1965, we actually could win a road game. The U.S. beats Great Britain for the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, it was just Great Britain and Ireland, though. I mean,
Exactly. Exactly, David. Think about that. Think about how much it must have, how badly they had to beat up Great Britain for them to say, you know what, we need the whole continent.
Well, I think we were the ones to suggest it. And they went, oh, okay.
Baltimore wins the World Series today in 66. Frank Robinson is the MVP, a 4-0 sweep over the Dodgers. The Supremes record Someday We'll Be Together. It's the last recording with Diana Ross in the group today in 1969. Someday we'll be together, just not after today. The Late Night Show with Joan Rivers premiered today in 1986. She'd be fired in May of 87.
Johnny never talked to her again. The word got out before she could call him and talk to him. And he heard about it, and she called him, and he heard her voice, and he hung up on her and never spoke to her again.
That's on Johnny, by the way. From two guys that can hold a grudge.
Yep.
Also today in 86, Phantom of the Opera premiered in London. It would only run for 13,629 performances.
By the way, Joan Rivers leaving to do that show on Fox paved the way for a new Monday night regular fill-in host, Jay Leno.
Today in 88, the A's beat the Red Sox in a sweep 4-0, and Dennis Eckersley becomes the first to save all 4 games in a championship series.
Clemens got ejected in Game 4. arguing balls and strikes. He gets the ball back from, I think Gedman was the catcher, and he puts his glove up over his mouth, but he's just berating the home plate umpire. And the home plate umpire in like the second inning of a deciding playoff game ejects Roger Clemens. Morgan, the manager, comes out. He gets ejected. It was just a zoo.
A year ago, Verstappen won his second consecutive F1 championship. He's already won the third. He did that like weeks ago. John Lennon would have been 83 today. Singer Jackson Brown is 75. Actor Robert Wool is 72. Sharon Osbourne, 71. Mike Singletary, 64. Annika Sorenstam's 53. And Henrik Zetterberg's 43. What did I miss, David?
Not much. Hoover Dam began transmitting electricity to Los Angeles today in 36. That's about it, to be honest with you.
Speaking of Los Angeles, didn't the Lakers win their bubble title today?
Well, I know that's on everyone's mind. You know, nothing like October NBA.
I don't have that on mine, but you could be right. Maybe the site that I use just didn't want to acknowledge the bubble.
Listen, last year I filled early October with bubble things. I decided to hold off until the very end this time. Lakers win their bubble chip.
Good job by you. That's, you know, title number whatever. It's their last one.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to India for the good, where a teenager set a Guinness Book of World Records using 41 days to use playing cards to build replicas of 4 buildings from his home. The project measured 40 feet long, 11 feet 4 inches high, and 16 feet 8 inches wide, breaking the record for largest playing card structure. He used about 143,000 cards to pull off the structure. I thought it was
How do you get a hold of that many cards? Where do you store them?
All solid questions, David.
Thank you.
For the bad, we go to Cape Coral, where parents are a little upset over a bus driver gone rogue. Apparently, the bus was running stop signs. When a dad tried to get his kid off the bus, the lady said, "Call the police," and slammed the door shut. Cape Coral police have been, or Cape Coral schools have been asked about it and have not yet given an answer to NBC2. And finally, the ugly. We go to the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport, where a traveler arriving from Kenya tried to smuggle some unique gifts into the country. She had giraffe poop.
Oh.
She obtained the droppings in Kenya and planned on making a necklace with the giraffe dung. She said she had made similar jewelry at her home in Iowa from moose feces. And that, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, October the 9th, 2023.
Yeah, but my guess is she didn't transport the moose feces on planes. She probably had that in the back of a truck. So a little different. You know,
what's in the overhead? Another man's treasure.
Yeah, what's in the overhead? Well,
how big is giraffe dung? You would think that would be large. You'd think you'd need your own carry-on just for that.
I mean, is that something that you put underneath the seat in front of you? I mean, do you store that? Is that something you take through and you dare them to, like, you know, here? No, check my bag. Absolutely. No, here you go. Yep. Nope, it was me. Check it.
It's more so the Patriots offense, I think. That's what it looks like.
Wow.
Look at you.
He is feeling it.
Wow. Got up off that knee for that one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm stunned. Felipe, I'm actually, well, you've got to go to work, so that's part of the deal that you got the golf shirt on today. I am surprised that you didn't manufacture a change of clothes and come in a Dolphins jersey today.
Well, I was repping Dolphins yesterday, all day yesterday.
So we got 3 things going on today. 2 of them baseball, 1 football. Monday Night Football in Vegas. Raiders hosting the Packers. Raiders a 2-point favorite. Over-under is 45.5. Say it again. The Packers, by the way, throw the ball 66% of the time. That's interesting, right? Young quarterback. They've got Aaron Jones and
He's
A.J.
been banged
Dillon.
up, though.
Yeah.
For the first couple games. I mean, just for what it's worth.
But that's a heck of a pass-run ratio. I mean, 2/3 pass. You would think you'd protect a young quarterback with play calling, a little friendlier than that. Green Bay, by the way, most penalized special teams in the league. Just throwing that out there. Something to pay attention to when you're watching the game. Packers run defense is terrible. Raiders run offense is the worst in the league. So does something give there? And can the Raiders score 19 points? Something they've yet to do in any of their first 4 games.
Man, that's remarkable to not be able to get to 20 in the National Football League.
So over under 45.5 seems ambitious, unless tonight's the night that they think they're going to break out a bit. And then you got 2 baseball games. If you don't want to wait till 8:15, 6 o'clock tonight, TBS. It's really simple. American League Division Series and Championship Series. American League is Fox. National League is TBS. Tonight's the National League. Game 2, Phillies and Braves. Phillies won game 1. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. TBS. Zach Wheeler, Max Fried. Series shifts to Philly after today. Braves were shut out in game 1. The 27 Yankees got blanked in the first game of the series. I don't know. I like the Braves tonight to bounce back. And then 9 o'clock TBS. The Dodgers are sending Bobby Miller to the Hill to try to save things. Yeah, exactly. Young guy who came up like 2 months ago.
Cousin Bobby's throwing tonight for the Dodgers?
Bobby Miller. Bobby with a Y for what it's worth.
I certainly hope it's not an I.
Just saying. Or an IE. Okay. Bobby Miller. Following Clayton Kershaw in the Dodgers rotation. I don't want to say they're hurting for pitching or anything. Against Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks. Remember, D-backs are the 6th seed. What happened in the National League last year with the 6th seed? They went to the World Series. Just saying. So 6 and 9 o'clock for the baseball on TBS. 8:15 for the football on ESPN. And they still simulcast that on ABC? I should probably know that, right?
That would be a question for the guy who works for Monday Night Football.
Yeah, just whatever. I just know. Yeah, it's on ABC as well. Okay.
Good to know. Glad we got all that cleared up.
Come on. I gave you all that stats. I mean, all this info I'm not supposed to say publicly. I gave it out to you here.
Thank you. It was good.
Yeah.
And you picked Vegas on Friday, if you recall. I picked Green Bay.
Yeah. Devontae Adams, 37 catches, 800 yards tonight, 14 touchdowns. Against his
Vegas
former
gets
team.
over 19.
Yes. Yes. Devontae will score 18 himself tonight and catch a 2-point conversion. Devontae will have 20 himself tonight. Miller and Moulton. I say we do this tomorrow. One of us will be sleep deprived.
Visit Jason and Todd.